Welcome to the Anzisha Prize. It's been a long journey for us. It's been a long journey for the fellows this year. The Anzisha Prize is the celebration of the most promising, very young entrepreneurs of the African continent. We are here today at the African Leadership Academy in Johannesburg, and today is a day of celebration. Today we will have 20 young entrepreneurs that are inspiring their communities. Those young entrepreneurs will present themselves before you and before our judges to pitch their companies. Today, those 20 young entrepreneurs are all winners. They made it. They made it to the African Leadership Academy. They made it to the Anzisha Prize. And after about 1 week of training, boot camp, business plan, and all those things, they are proud to introduce their companies, their ventures to you. I'm not alone to welcome them. I'm surrounded by an incredible jury. We have the great honor to have with us today Saran Kaba-Jones. We have with us from Ivory Coast Binta Diomande, Chris Kwekowe, and my friend Tutuko Shezi. I will ask them to introduce themselves because it's not just a random jury. Those people actually are pretty active on the continent and truly believe on what we're doing today. So I will ask Bita to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Bita Diomande and I'm from Cote d'Ivoire. I started my entrepreneurship journey when I was about 25. I launched a company called Serafina. It was an e-commerce platform sourcing fair wage fashion from women's cooperatives in Africa and Asia. I'm currently the co-founder and COO of Django. We are a startup studio dedicated to building multiple ventures that use digital platforms to structure ecosystems within Africa and promote SME growth, with the aim of creating as many jobs as possible for youth and women. So I am very excited to be here right now, and why is this important to me? I was a Legatum entrepreneur and MasterCard fellow at MIT, where I benefited from a number of similar resources that ALA is providing. I also run a resource platform dedicated to entrepreneurs and SMEs in West Africa, so entrepreneurship is very, very dear to my heart. And I am incredibly honored to be here today, and so excited to meet all the fellows and hear your incredible stories, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bita, for being with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Saran, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hello everyone, my name is Saran Kaba-Jones. I'm from Liberia. I run an organization called Face Africa that I started 10 years ago, and we're focused on building clean water infrastructure to provide access to safe drinking water and sanitation facilities in remote communities across sub-Saharan Africa. I'm extremely honored and excited to be here and look forward to hearing the amazing pitches from all of our candidates. I think this is important because given the tremendous challenges that Africa faces today, I think the solution lies in the hands of our young people today. So I'm incredibly excited to hear all of the amazing projects and businesses that they've started. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Saran. Mr. Shezi.
Thank you for having me. My name is Doturo Shezi. I'm an entrepreneur. In my previous life, I used to be a strategy consultant with Accenture. And for the last 15 years, I've been an entrepreneur doing all sorts of ideas from automotive, where we built the first airport-based panel beating business that services travelers and services car rental companies at airports. We grew that to a couple of million rand a year business. And then currently working on Livestock Wealth, which is a crowd farming platform that enables anyone to be a farmer. So that's currently managing about 26 million rands worth of cattle on our platform. I'm excited to be here because I remember very well when I was 20, 21, and I think that had I had the same type of opportunities that the guys have now with the prize like Anzisha, my life could have probably accelerated faster than it did. So I'm glad to be part of the solution of what the future needs, and really being here today allows me to do my bit in terms of paying it forward to the next generation.
Thank you for making the time and being with us. We have a special member of the jury. That he's very talented, and I'm very impressed by his progress since he's been on this stage a few years ago. Chris, could you introduce yourself?
My name is Chris Kokowe. I'm from Nigeria. I run a startup called Snail. And basically what we do is it's a digital talent accelerator that develops African talents and then uses AI and machine learning to match talents to companies looking to specific talent across tech, design, digital marketing, machine learning, data science, and a bunch of other skill sets. For me, it's particularly interesting to be here, sitting down here and not the other side.
You can come. You can be more than welcome. You want to teach?
Three years ago, this was my story. Teaching for the Anzisha Prize. I'm 21. And I understand what it's like for these young entrepreneurs who are going to be over here trying to pitch their businesses. And just looking at all the things that they do, I think they're all relevant. And I think it's a pleasure and privilege to be here just listening to the stories.
Do you have an advice for the participants today? Something that you want to share with them?
Don't rush.
Okay, don't rush. Take your time.
Take your time.
Okay.
But more than anything, your pitch, your pitch deck, it's good, but it's not really going to be the only basis for a decision. So take your time, tell us a story that helps us understand the business, give us numbers that we can better understand the impact, and that's really what we're doing.
And I think what we could add to that is you already won. You're here. It means that you're good and we believe in you. We also have Polo Leteka. She joined us. She's also a member of the jury. And Mrs. Leteka, could you introduce yourself?
I'm Polo Leteka. I'm an entrepreneur, but I also invest in entrepreneurs. I started my business just over 10 years ago. Reaching necessity to identify young entrepreneurs and women from businesses in South Africa to invest in and help them grow from small businesses to full-fledged others. I have to date invested in more than 150 small businesses within South Africa, and I'm in the process of expanding my business to Sub-Saharan Africa. In fact, I've got a Nigerian business partner who has been to Lagos a few times. I'm very excited about the potential of this continent. I believe that we are in the last frontier, and I believe that entrepreneurship is the tool that we need to help us realize our full potential of this continent from an economic perspective. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm also inspired by young entrepreneurs. I do a lot of judging generally in my career. I just came from Morocco on Saturday. I was also part of the judging panel on Demo Africa. So I'm very excited to be part of this, and I'm very excited, of course, to be part of the Q&A, because I think the work that they really very, very important work.
So it's great to have you. It's great to have someone who actually investing in the youth, someone who actively invests in young entrepreneurs. And I think we can all agree that our jury today is amazing. But guys, you are watching this show today, and you also have your voice. You also have the opportunity to ask questions. So we have a viewer questions award, which means that during this whole process, you can use social media to ask questions. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Send us your questions, and if your question is picked, you will win a big prize that we will announce at the end of this show. We also have the Viewer Choice Award, which means that you are able to vote for one of the participants. So just go to the anzishaprize.org, the anzishaprize.org, where you can vote. It's pretty easy. And if you vote for the winner, you will have also a great prize. I will take 1 minute to thank some organizations supporting the Anzisha Prize today. My friends from the African Leadership University in Nairobi. Hello guys. The African Leadership Academy in Mauritius. And the African Leadership in Rwanda. I will not forget the Global Minimum. It's an organization based in Kenya, and we are so pleased to have your support. So, now we have to start. And even if there's a lot of pressure, not just on my shoulders, because yes, I was stressed today. Most of the stress is on the shoulders of the participant today. And I want to make sure that they can feel safe and feel your support. So if you're out there and you're watching, please tweet, support them. You know, those young entrepreneurs, they dedicated their life to create job opportunities, to create solutions in their context, in their city, in their country. So for me, those young entrepreneurs are heroes. Heroes that we have to celebrate. We have to invest in them. And so, please welcome the first participant. His name is Kevin Edo. He's 21, from Cameroon. Please welcome him with me.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. 624.
624.
624, c'est le nombre de personnes qui décèdent sur le route en Afrique.
624 is the number of people who died every day in our world in Africa.
Parmi ces 624 personnes,
Among the 624,
il y a sûrement des futurs entrepreneurs,
there is future entrepreneurs,
des futurs leaders,
future leaders,
des futurs présidents.
future presidents.
Alors, pourquoi pouvons-nous nous baser sur un risque
So why are we not taking action?
quand on sait que ça peut arriver à n'importe qui?
Why we know that this can happen to everybody here in this class. To you,
À vous,
to me,
à vos enfants,
to your children,
à vos femmes,
to your wife,
à vos maris.
to your husband.
Pour de cela, mon équipe et moi, Kevin et Dor,
Therefore, my teammates and I, Kevin Edo,
nous avons réalisé qu'il y avait deux problèmes principaux.
we've realized that there are two principal problems.
Soit on décide d'empêcher les accidents de se produire,
Either we avoid accidents to happen,
soit on essaie d'augmenter la vitesse de sauvetage des personnes qui sont dans des accidents.
either we increase the efficiency of the different rescuers,
Et nous avons décidé d'opter pour la deuxième option.
and we've decided to choose the second option.
Et c'est pour ça que nous avons constaté
This is the reason why we observe that
que actuellement, le problème que les urgentistes ont actuellement,
actually the problem that the rescuers have
c'est qu'ils manquent de temps pour pouvoir opérer, pour pouvoir sauver les gens.
is that they don't have enough time to rescue people.
Ils manquent de moyens pour pouvoir localiser là où se trouvent les gens.
They don't have enough sources in order to localize all the people.
Ils manquent de temps pour pouvoir aider les personnes qui sont accidentées.
They don't have enough time to help the victims.
Ainsi, nous avons décidé de produire une solution, SOS System.
This is the reason why we create SOS System.
SOS System est un ensemble d'applications
SOS System is a group of applications
qui se compose d'abord d'une application mobile gratuite et téléchargeable par tout le monde
which is made by an application which is downloadable by everybody
et qui permet à quiconque, quand il est en danger, de lancer un SOS afin que quelqu'un vienne l'aider.
and which help everybody to send a message when he is in danger in order to have rescue.
La deuxième partie de cette application
The second part of this application
est SOS Superviseur.
is SOS Supervisor.
L'objectif de cet outil
The objective of these sources
est d'aider les gens à pouvoir, d'aider les secouristes à pouvoir voir ou intervenir directement sur les lieux de danger.
is to help rescuer to come directly in the place where there is a victim or accident.
On a ajouté un troisième outil
We add another source
qui est le bracelet.
which is the bracelet.
On a remarqué que les urgentistes avaient du mal à identifier les gens lorsqu'ils veulent les sauver.
We observed that most of the rescuers don't have the opportunity to identify the victims.
Ainsi, on a produit un bracelet qui permet d'identifier n'importe quel utilisateur.
This is the reason why we create a bracelet we can help to identify all the users.
Il a valeur de carnet de santé,
It's like an assurance.
il a valeur d'identifiant
It can help to identify.
et il a valeur aussi pour quand vous aurez besoin de sang ou de transplantation, on puisse savoir directement de quoi vous avez besoin.
It can help to transfer blood or everything that may happen to you.
Ainsi, comment gagnons-nous de l'argent?
So, how are we making profits?
On procède de deux manières.
We have two options.
On propose des services de souscription,
Either we can provide a subscription service,
des séries de souscription pour SOS superviseurs
a subscription service for SOS supervisors,
qui sont déjà donnés directement aux urgentistes et aux hôpitaux.
which are directly provided to the different hospitals and rescuers.
Et également, on propose un service de souscription pour les bracelets.
In addition, we provide a subscription service for all the bracelets.
Ainsi, les clients qui décident d'avoir des bracelets sont facturés à l'année.
Therefore, all the clients, all the users we want to have the bracelet are just paying monthly or annually.
Et les clients qui décident d'utiliser le superviseur paient mensuellement.
All the people who want to use the supervisor have to pay annually.
Également, on a ajouté une option de publicité
Also, we add an advertising program
qui permet directement d'informer les gens sur les règles et les pratiques à suivre quand on est en danger.
which help to identify people when they have problems.
Ainsi, nous avons réussi, durant la première année de lancement de SOS, à engranger plus de 50 000 utilisateurs.
Therefore, in the first year of SOS, we succeed in having more than 50,000 users.
Nous avons eu trois grandes compagnies qui ont souscrit aux superviseurs.
We had 3 companies who decided to work with us.
Et après avoir investi $8 000,
And after having invested $8,000,
nous avons réussi à avoir un revenu de $7 816.
we had a revenue of $70,000.
C'était pas un succès durant la première année,
It was not a success in the first year,
mais lorsqu'on a, à partir de janvier 2018,
but after January 2000,
nous avons intensifié notre manière de communiquer sur l'application.
we've increased our way to communicate
Ainsi,
on our application.
En août, nous avons réussi à totaliser un nombre d'utilisateurs de 88 000 utilisateurs.
Therefore, in August, we succeed in having a number of users which is 18,000 users.
Et après avoir investi $8 500 sur toute l'année,
And after having invested,
nous avons déjà comblé notre perte de la première année.
we have succeeded in recording back all the money that we've lost.
Nous prévoyons pour 2019,
For 2019,
avec un budget de $17 000,
with $17,000
de propager SOS sur tous les territoires togolais.
to expand SOS on all over Togo.
Car actuellement, nous sommes basés sur un quart du territoire togolais.
Because for this moment, we are just in a quarter of the territory.
Et nous visons à toucher tous les Togolais.
And we want to touch every Togolese.
Et à partir de 2020,
And in 2020,
nous commençons à lancer notre processus de propagation dans toute l'Afrique.
we will begin to expand all over Africa.
Nous allons commencer par le Nigeria.
We start by Nigeria.
Nous avons déjà un partenaire sur place.
We already have a
Le
partner.
marché est déjà là.
The market is already there.
Du coup, alors, quel est l'impact de SOS depuis son lancement?
So what is the impact of SOS since its launch?
Depuis que nous avons lancé SOS,
Since the launch of SOS,
par semaine, nous avons entre 150 et 300 appels SOS.
per week we have between 100 and 300 calls per week.
Ce ne sont pas des appels pour tester,
Those are not calls just to try.
ce sont des personnes qui ont besoin d'aide.
Those are people who need really help.
Chaque semaine, on a toujours ce nombre qui ne cesse d'augmenter.
Every week we have this number which is always increasing.
Actuellement, nous avons réussi à atteindre les 88 000 personnes. Parmi les 88 000 personnes, on a réussi à fidéliser plus de 60% de ces nombres.
Among the 80,000 people, we've succeeded in keeping them as our users.
Et maintenant, nous avons réussi à créer des emplois auprès des partenaires qui ont souscrit à SOS Supervisor.
And now we succeed in creating employment among all the partners that we have.
Les équipes d'urgentistes recrutent beaucoup plus d'urgentistes
Rescuers are employing more rescuers
pour sauver beaucoup plus de personnes.
in order to save more people.
Alors, pourquoi nous choisir?
So why do you have to choose us?
Parce que tout d'abord, nous sauvons des vies.
Because firstly, we save people's lives.
Deuxièmement, le nombre de nos utilisateurs ne fait qu'augmenter constamment.
Also, the number of our users is always increasing.
Et la troisième chose, c'est qu'avec l'aide d'Anzisha, on pourra réellement réussir notre propagation sur toute l'Afrique.
And with the help of Anzisha, we'll succeed our expansion all over Africa.
Merci à tous.
Thank you so much.
How was it?
It was good.
Okay, okay.
I was a little bit nervous, but...
Yeah, you had more time, but you did great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I was impressed. I was like, oh, do you want to be MC? You feel like next year? No?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Good morning and congratulations for your pitch. It was good.
Thank you very much.
I can imagine the challenge of translating.
Oh, yeah.
And I think also the problem that you're trying to solve is a very big problem. And so congratulations for identifying the opportunity. I was just trying to figure out how it actually works. It didn't come out clearly for me.
Okay.
So you're talking about having 100,000 users according to this, and your slides talk about 88,000, so I'm not quite sure what the number is. But how do you convert the users to, how do you monetize that? It wasn't very clear to me. You talked about, for instance, your business model, and it sounds like something you're going to do in the future. So I'm just trying to understand how you're currently monetizing your user base.
Du coup, concernant notre business model, c'est ce que nous faisons actuellement.
Okay, so the business model is what we do actually.
Actuellement, ce qui se passe, c'est que les utilisateurs comme vous et moi, ils ne payent pas pour l'application.
The application is free, so the user don't have to pay for the application.
Mais les urgentistes, les centres de santé, les hôpitaux, tout... Oui.
But the different user, the hospitals, the rescuer, the firemen have to subscribe to the services.
Et les prix sont définis en fonction de la taille et du nombre d'utilisateurs que peuvent gérer les centres de santé.
And the price is defined according to the different services that we provide. So,
oui. Et c'est pour ça qu'actuellement, nous avons déjà totalisé plus de 20 000 compagnies qui ont souscrit à SOS Supervisor.
This is the reason why actually we have more than 20 companies who subscribe to SOS Supervisor.
Du coup, ce que nous prévoyons de faire, c'est par rapport au bracelet.
Okay, so what we want to do is to monetize the bracelet.
Actuellement, on n'a pas encore lancé la production de tous les bracelets.
Actually, we haven't started the production of all the bracelets.
Il y a quelques personnes qui ont déjà des bracelets.
We have a few people who have the bracelet.
Mais vu que c'est une production industrielle,
but it's an industrialization production.
Il faut qu'on s'équipe des moyens pour les réaliser.
So we need a lot of funds in order to realize that.
Fantastic pitch, way better than my pitch 3 years ago. So my question still revolves around how you make money, because I mean it wasn't still clear to me. I would figure that the bracelet is one way, but then who exactly are you targeting? Because I know some people cannot afford to have those bracelets. How does an everyday person who is probably earning less than $5 a month afford to use your service?
Pour les bracelets ne sont pas chers. On s'est basé juste sur un abonnement à 100 francs. 100 francs l'unité, 100 francs le bracelet. 100 francs, c'est... Oui.
So the bracelets are not really expensive. They are about less than $1. So everybody can afford it. So if someone wants the bracelet, it just has to subscribe and then he will get it.
Okay, thank you. You did great. You did a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Please. We will now welcome on stage Adred Dogu. He's a young entrepreneur from Benin. He's just 21 and he's pretty impressive.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Adred Dogu. I'm 22 years old and I'm Benin. And now, please allow me to continue in French. Donc, j'ai grandi à la campagne.
So I grew up in the countryside.
Je ne sais pas si c'est pour ça, quand j'ai eu le baccalauréat, j'ai voulu continuer mes études en agronomie.
So I don't know if this is the reason why when I graduated high school, I wanted to study
Mes
agriculture.
parents ont voulu que je fasse la médecine.
My parents wanted me to study medicine,
Et j'ai quand même voulu faire l'agronomie.
but I still wanted to study agriculture.
Donc, j'allais pendant mes études travailler avec les agriculteurs.
So when I was studying, I went and worked with farmers.
Quand un jour, un agriculteur m'appelle,
Then one day, one of those farmers called me,
il me dit, Aldred,
and he asked me, Aldred,
tu sais que depuis un certain temps, on enregistre des pertes post-récolte.
so he told me that for a while we had the post-harvest losses.
Comment tu peux nous aider?
How can you help us?
C'était une question qui m'a beaucoup inquiété.
So this was a question that very worried me.
Alors, qu'est-ce que j'ai fait? J'ai fait une étude de marché.
So I did a market study.
Et de l'étude de marché, il ressortait que les légumes précuits existaient qu'en importé dans mon pays.
So when I did the market study, I realized that the pre-cooked vegetables only exist when they are imported.
De cette même étude, il ressortait que
With the same method, I figured out that
le taux d'insécurité alimentaire était estimé à 45%.
I realized that the numbers of food insecurities in Benin are 45%.
Alors, qu'est-ce que j'ai fait? J'ai décidé de devenir un pont entre les petits agriculteurs et les consommateurs.
So I decided to bridge the gap between the consumers and the small farmers.
Alors, comment ça se passe? Je rachète les matières premières chez les petits agriculteurs.
So how it works, I buy the raw materials from the smallhold farmers.
Je fais tout le travail nécessaire pour la cuisine.
I do all the necessary works of the kitchen.
C'est-à-dire, je les lave, je les découpe, je les mets en sachet.
I wash the vegetables,
Et je les livre au supermarché.
I cut them, I package the vegetables, and then I deliver them to the supermarkets.
Donc, c'est vrai, jusqu'ici, ça n'a pas été facile. J'ai rencontré beaucoup de challenges.
I'll have to admit, it was not easy for me to get there, and I met a lot of
C'est
obstacles.
vrai que j'ai fait du service de restauration, j'ai vendu des habits à mes amis, des t-shirts à mes amis.
So I worked at restaurants, I sold t-shirts for my
Pour
friends,
pouvoir mettre en place une économie et lancer le business.
in order for me to be able to raise enough money to
Mes
start my
merveilleux
business.
parents m'ont beaucoup aidé en conseil et directive.
So my parents really helped me in terms of advice and directives.
J'ai commencé dans la maison de mon père,
I-
seul.
I started alone at my dad's house.
Aujourd'hui, j'ai 5 employés et nous avons changé de local.
And today we have 5 employees and we have changed our office.
Au bout des 5-7 prochaines années,
In the next 5 to 7 years,
on espère créer 120 emplois directs
we are hoping to start to create 120 direct
et
jobs
plus de 600 emplois indirects.
and more than 600 indirect jobs.
Ensuite, je vais parler des problèmes. Les problèmes, il y a les problèmes auxquels j'ai apporté des solutions. Donc, nos produits sont la carotte pré-cuite, le haricot vert pré-cuit et le chou pré-cuit. C'est ce que nous proposons.
So those are our products. We produce pre-cooked carrots, pre-cooked green beans, and pre-cooked
Je
vegetables.
tiens à notifier que nous sommes la première entreprise locale à mettre sur le marché ces produits.
I will have to remind that we're the very first local business to actually produce pre-cooked vegetables.
Notre marché couvre les villes de Cotonou et d'Abomey-Calavi.
Our market, we target the cities of Cotonou and
Nous
Abomey-Calavi.
avons en perspective d'intégrer à moyen terme le marché nigérien.
In the middle term, we would like to integrate the Nigerian market.
Actuellement, nous travaillons avec plus de 45 petits agriculteurs.
Right now, we are working with more than 45 smallhold
Et
farmers.
nous avons travaillé à ce jour avec 32 supermarchés, restaurants et ménages.
And we have worked with a total of 32 restaurants, supermarkets,
Je
and
tiens à rappeler
households.
que nous avons des relations business to business avec les supermarchés et les restaurants.
I would like to remind that we have a relationship of business to business with
Et des relations
supermarkets and restaurants,
business to consumer avec les ménages.
and business to consumers with the households.
Côté compétition, on a des concurrents directs et des concurrents indirects.
In terms of competition, we have direct competitors and indirect competitors.
Les concurrents directs sont les importateurs de légumes précuits.
The direct competitors are the importers of the pre-cooked vegetables.
Notre valeur ajoutée, c'est que nous, nos produits sont sans conservateurs.
Our added value is that we produce without chemical additives.
Nos concurrents indirects, c'est que eux, ils vendent des légumes frais.
Our direct competitors is that they sell fresh vegetables.
Notre valeur ajoutée, c'est que nous, nos produits sont prêts pour la consommation.
Our added value is that we produce that are ready to be consumed.
Le présent graphe nous démontre l'évolution du nombre de collaborations que nous avons eues avec les petits agriculteurs en fonction des produits vendus.
We have a graph that demonstrates the growing number of collaborations with smallhold farmers and the number of products that are sold or to be sold.
On remarque là tout de suite qu'entre mai 2017 et mai 2018, il y a une évolution.
We can see that between May 2017 and May 2018, there's an evolution in numbers.
Et en 2019, le prix d'Anzisha va nous permettre de multiplier par 4 la production.
And in May 2019, the price of Anzisha and the financing from Anzisha will allow us to grow our numbers by 4 times.
Le présent tableau nous montre les revenus et les profits.
This is a table that represents the revenues and the profits.
Nous pouvons remarquer tout de suite que les profits font 25% des revenus.
We can see that the profits, they represent 25% of the revenues.
Notre modèle de revenus est uniquement basé sur la vente de nos produits.
Our revenue model is based on the selling of the pre-cooked vegetables.
Et là, nous avons les principales dépenses.
And this is the principal expenses. Those are the agricultural raw materials.
Qu'est-ce que le prix Anzisha va me permettre de faire?
So what would the Anzisha Prize would allow me to do?
Je vais acheter une découpeuse alimentée par convoyeur, un four à vapeur en pression et une éplucheuse automatique.
The Anzisha will allow me to buy to purchase a vegetable cutter equipped with a conveyor, a steam oven with a pressure, and automatic peeler.
Secondo, ça va me permettre de changer mes emballages, d'avoir des emballages biodégradables. Parce qu'en décembre dernier, mon gouvernement a voté une loi interdisant les emballages plastiques.
In December 2017, my country, they banned the use of plastic bags. Therefore, I'll have to purchase biodegradable bags in order for me to protect the environment.
La troisième chose, c'est que je vais obtenir une certification pour mes produits afin d'étendre mon marché de vente.
In order for me to expand my market, I will have to obtain a certificate from the Food Safety and Control Organization.
Merci. Voilà la merveilleuse équipe derrière moi. Elle n'est pas complète là, mais là c'est mon assistante et là c'est un agent de production.
So these are the amazing people that I've worked with. We saw a picture of my assistant and one of the production agents.
Thank you for your attention. I am up on the term of my presentation. Thank you.
Bravo! Now we have time for 2 questions, pretty short questions, and we'll start with you.
Thank you for a great presentation. What I wanted to ask is, once you have pre-cooked the vegetables, how long is the shelf life that it stays until? Can one refrigerate it again and recook it again? How long does it stay before it's no longer usable? And just another last quick question: if you're expanding to other countries, how easy or difficult would it be to get approval with the food organizations in the different countries?
Par rapport à cette question,
In terms of the first question,
la durée d'expiration est de 2 mois.
the expiry date is 2 months.
Et je tiens à notifier quand la chaîne du froid est respectée. Quand la chaîne du froid est respectée.
When the freezing temperature is respected,
C'est de 2 mois.
so it's 2 months.
Another question?
Seconde question.
Do not.
Seconde question. La seconde
Yeah,
question.
La seconde question était, donc tu veux travailler avec des marchés internationaux, donc comment les logistiques avec le gouvernement et les organisations de la sécurité alimentaire au Bénin, comment ça va se faire?
Actuellement, c'est pour ça que j'aimerais avoir une certification. Nos produits doivent obtenir une certification afin que je puisse étendre le marché. Le marché actuellement est minimal. C'est un marché minimal que je trouve. J'aimerais bien étendre le marché, donc j'ai besoin d'obtenir des certifications. Parce que les grands marchés exigent beaucoup plus de normes et réglementations à respecter.
So bigger markets, they require more certificates and they have bigger norms. So in order for me to be able to expand to the international or at least the regional level, I'll have to obtain this certificate.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, first I was saying congratulations on your pitch and also on the success with the Africa Foods Mill. What I wanted to understand was the pricing on the different products and also to see how you could really relook that also, because I was just looking at the numbers for the profits to see how you could be increasing your profits over time.
Actuellement, le prix du haricot vert est de 1050 francs.
So currently
Le prix du haricot vert est de 1050 francs.
So the green beans.
25 francs.
So currently the price for the green beans is
1050
1,050 francs.
Le prix du chou est de 900 francs.
The price of the cabbage is
900.
1,900
Et le
francs.
prix de la carotte est de 800 francs.
And the price of carrots is 800 francs.
Les profits actuellement sont de 25% environ.
The current profits are 25%.
D'accord. Merci.
Thank you so much. You did great. Bravo. Ça fait très bien. Congratulations. So I'm pretty impressed because I feel like, you know, we have great entrepreneurs, and even if, you know, they don't speak English, they are still able to come here before you and present their company. Now, we will welcome a young entrepreneur. He's 18, he's from Sierra Leone. I'm impressed by his journey. And his name is Al-Haji Ba.
My name is Al-Haji Ahmad Siraj Ba. I was born in the Eastern Province of Sierra Leone. I lost my dad at 12 and I had to drop out of school because my single sick mom couldn't afford to pay my school fees. I then moved to the capital city in order to search for a good life. Though it was not easy, but I did not give up and stop living. I was adopted at 17 and lost my adopted parent at 18 during the mudslide disaster in Freetown last year, which caused more than 500 deaths, caused by a high amount of deforestation and improper waste management. That is one of the many reasons that led me to start an eco-friendly company. In November 2017, I started my paper bag business with $20 from my savings, and later ventured into a briquetting company. Today, I employ 38 people who are earning a living from my own company. Sierra Leone is a country with so many challenges, yet drowning in a huge waste management crisis. With overproducing 1.2 million tons of waste, and 60% of this waste are predominantly plastics and coconut waste. Our primary business is to create value from our country menace into product that can be beneficial to all. Our two major products are coconut husk briquette and paper bags. Because we are in Ruxal together, we are passionate about we are passionate about environmental sustainability. With the world producing this high amount of waste, we ask ourselves how to reduce these numbers while saving the environment. Our products are channeled toward creating impact in society as they are created to protect the environment, to promote green city, reduce air pollution, and enable young people in our society. We believe we owe it to the society for the change we seek. This is why our approach is geared toward personal skills management and community enablement. We employ young people who are school dropout like me to collect coconut waste. We weigh it in order to pay them. We also train these young people on manual paperback production. We in turn employ them to work with us for a month in order for them to learn basic communication, leadership, and entrepreneurship skills. We also employ women who serve as our distributor for our briquettes. We are providing a means of survival and financial training so that they can self-sustain. We started in November 2017 with just $20, and today we are producing 101,000 paper bags and a revenue of $12,700, $6,900 expenses, and $5,800 profit. People are not only buying our briquettes because we are the only paper bags and briquetting company in Sierra Leone, but because we are helping them create value for their product by building a brand we are helping them create a value for their product, building a brand by customizing their logos on our bags. And also, we are also saving thousands of our sisters' lives, wives, and mothers' lives by providing them smokeless briquettes. As we all know, smokes from charcoal claims almost millions of people's lives every year in Africa. Our ask is, if we win the Anzisha Prize, we will be able to train hundreds of youth and scale up production by employing hundreds of workers, buying a paperback producing machine, and a briquette dryer. We will also be able to continue combating environmental problems. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I would love to hear your questions.
Congrats, man. You did good. You did good. How do you feel?
Nervous.
Nervous? You did good.
Thank you. My first time preaching.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Saran, do you have a question?
I'm really impressed with the fact that your company is environmentally conscious, because I think that's a big problem that our African countries are facing. It didn't come across too clear. Who are your main customers? Who are your primary customers? And I think it's great that you're providing customization by putting customers' logos on the bags. Is there an extra cost for that? And have you thought about other ways to get more creative, such as what you're doing with the logos? So first question is, who are your primary customers? And what other creative ways are you trying to attract more customers?
Right now, our customers for now is the hotels. For the paper bags are for the hotels, boutiques, restaurants, and shops, and the general public. Our customers for the briquettes are the general public, anyone that cooks, and food vendors, hotels, and also restaurants. And for the customization for the bags, we charge no other expenses.
So it's the same cost?
It's the same cost.
Why aren't you thinking of sort of upcharging a little bit? Because
we are also earning, so there is no need to charge another money for the customization.
Okay. I think there's an opportunity there to upcharge slightly.
Okay, we might consider that in the future, but building a company that is starting right now, though we are only able to supply right now 55% of our demand because of the limited resources we do have. We might consider doing that in the future, but building a smaller company, we just want to limit
the
it
cost
to,
at the same across the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Saran. We have time for a quick question.
I was trying to figure out, firstly, where you get your raw materials from. And then secondly, I just wanted to get a sense of how you converted $20 into producing so much.
I'm the only paperback producer in Sierra Leone. So I started my company with just $20, and our strategy for producing is you give us 50% of the money, and after we've done producing your product, you give us another 50% of the money. So we were able to produce in the first month around 2,000 bags, and right now we are producing 10,000 bags. Our demand right now is 19,500. And later I ventured into the briquetting company through the money I earned and saved from the paperback company.
Great. Haji, you did great. Let me hug you. Thank you. You did great. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Now it's the right time to have a young female entrepreneur. I think it's very important for us to acknowledge that entrepreneurship has to be also diverse. And the young entrepreneurs coming now, she's 21, she's from Zambia, and I ask you to welcome Alina Karima Musama.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Alina Karima Musama from Zambia, and I am the founder of a non-profit called the Women's Economic Empowerment Project. I was raised by a single struggling mother. We lived in a one-bedroom house, and my mother had to take care of 3 children, her own mother, while supporting her sister and distant family relations, all while on a bank teller's salary. Neighbors would come to our door seeking help, and they were never turned away hungry, disappointed, or empty-handed. And in an early age in life, this made me realize just how valuable a single woman can be to her community. 3 years ago, at the age of 18, I developed and perfected a skill as a makeup artist. And I managed to transform one of my passions into an income-generating hobby, earning over $300 per month. At this point, we were living in a much better neighborhood, directly in between 2 highly populated communities, Kaunda Square and Ngombe. This meant that every weekend we had at least 2 visits from women coming from either one or both of these communities, offering to wash all of my family's dirty laundry, clean our entire house, and cook for the price of less than $1. This bothered me. So after speaking to a colleague, we decided that we were going to go into these communities these women were coming from with the simple intention of having a conversation with them and finding out why they were offering so much for so little, and ask them what we could do to help. After having conversations with numerous women, including female marketeers, we discovered that a majority of them had little to no skills, no formal employment, and no access to information on how they could get better job or business opportunities. So with the resources that we had, we decided to share the skills we had with them and train them on how they can attract customers. But this was our trial and error stage, and we discovered that we cannot train large and different groups of women every weekend and impact them with all the knowledge they needed to learn in a day. So with a team of 3 that later grew to 5, we developed a 5-month curriculum that enabled these women to learn not only a vocational skill, but marketing, customer care, entrepreneur leadership, basic computer knowledge, and more. And we discovered through the survey that we did with corporates that learning and acquiring these skills would enable these women to stand a better chance of being potential job creators in their community and being able to sustain full-time employment. On top of this, the women go through a 1-week job shadow at an already existing business and gain practical entrepreneur experience every single weekend. We have an 80% of our graduates go on to become full-time employment, while 20% go back into the community and become home-based or small-scale entrepreneurs that share the skills that they have learned with other women in the communities, therefore creating a spiderweb effect. We have a 90% success rate. We are only able to take on 10 girls per curriculum, unfortunately, due to limited resources. This is an issue because Zambia has set Vision 2030, and Vision 2030 aims to get Zambia to a middle-income economy by 2030, and that's really close. Women are the driving force of growing economies. Working women grow economies. The increase in a labor force, the female increase in labor force means that the economy will grow faster. So what this means is the more ready-to-work women we empower, the more women we fill in the job positions that are already existing, the more female job creators we create and send back into society, the faster, greater, and bigger our Zambian economy will grow, and the sooner we will be able to reach Zambia Vision 2030. We have managed to reduce our cost drive from 4,000 kwacha to 3,000 kwacha in the last 2 years while maintaining the number of beneficiaries that we reach. But please don't take my word for it. Here is a video from one of our past participants. Her name is Wendy Nakawanga.
My name is Wendy Nakawanga. I'm 22 years old. I'm a graduate from Women Economic Empowerment Project. Yes, I'm working here at Chitenge. We make shoes. After I graduated, I started applying on what I was taught from Women Economic Project, customer care, which is taking care of the customer, always welcoming them, never be too rude. Here at Chitenge, I've learned a lot. I've learned how to make shoes. As you can see, we make shoes and Chitenge bags, Chitenge handbags. Yes.
Wendy is now the store manager of a retail boutique called Chitenge, and being store manager, she has created 3 positions where she will be hiring 3 more girls from our program. Thank you so much for your time. I will be accepting questions now. Please use simple English.
Well done, well done, well done, well done. Who has a question? Chris.
Yeah.
I feel like you have a question.
Yeah, the question is... so I have a problem with, to an extent, young people running NGOs because I don't know how sustainable it is. Now, maybe there's something that you're doing that I don't know. So I would like to know how you guys make a profit out of this, or how you, are you going to be wholly dependent on grants for you to sustain what you're doing? Because I think it's relevant. However, I don't know how, if you can share how you, in some ways, can raise revenue in some way to be able to run this, that would be very helpful.
Of course. Thank you so much for your question. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we are a non-profit organization, and how one of our revenue drives is, I mentioned that the girls gain practical entrepreneur experience every weekend. So they learn how to set up their businesses from scratch, everything from your name to customer identification. And you put this into practice, you're actually creating and working a business. So the profits that they use, because they're using our organization's resources, the money that they make, the organization takes a 20% that goes forward to paving the way for the next group of girls that we take on for the curriculum. And through the Anzisha Prize, we have been able to explore so many other revenue drives that we're going to put into practice when I get back home.
We have time for another question?
I was actually going to. So hi.
Hello.
My question is very related to Chris's,
Okay.
and I was just trying to think about how you use, because the need you are trying to address is a societal need. I mean, government should be paying you, and corporates should be paying you. Have you explored the possibility of those kinds of institutions to fund your initiatives?
That's actually one of the things that we learned here with the mentorship sessions. It was how we managed to reduce our cost drive was, instead of training somebody to come in and teach them financial literacy skills, we downloaded learning materials off an online platform called Ready to Work. So when I get back home to Zambia, this Ready to Work program was created by Barclays under the ABSA group. So we're going to be able to approach Barclays and say, for your CSR, corporate social responsibility projects, can you take us on? We use your learning materials, and through your learning materials, we'll be able to change the lives of 50 women.
Congratulations.
Thank
It was amazing.
you.
It was amazing. So now we will welcome another great entrepreneur. She's 21. She's from South Africa. Her story is amazing. Please welcome Amanda Jo.
I'd like to greet the judges, the fellowship, and Africa. My name is Amanda Jojo, and I'm 21 years old. I own a coffee shop called The Tree Garden. When I was young, I was sexually abused, and then later in 2015, I had a miscarriage. But with all of that was going on, I suffered a lot of depression. The only way I could get comfort, or the only way I could get through this, was drinking coffee and tea. I dream of a South Africa where people come together and have conversation around mental issues, or just come together to comfort each other. But now, the reality is, they say every 30 seconds or 40 seconds, someone tries to commit suicide. And they say 17 million people in South Africa are dealing with depression. And over 400 people in Africa at large are suffering from issues like depression, anxiety, and bipolar. So now, Tree Garden. At the Tree Garden, we've created a space and an environment, I'll say a home, for people to come and enjoy the cup of coffee. So I have some tea here. If you can just pass it around and smell. It is the aroma that brings in people to come together and share a cup of tea or coffee. We also create events where people can come and find refuge to connect with the community, as well as just everybody at large. The tea and the coffee blends that we sell and that we make, they consist of chamomile, lavender, rose geranium, which helps you with easing the stress. And just because we live in a fast-paced world, Johannesburg. These are some of the events that I've done. So you can just see the peaceful environment that Tree Garden has. Also, the teas are amazing, and the coffee as well. With everything that I've went through, I'm such a courageous and resilient leader, but I don't do this alone. I do this with my team. So it's me, the owner and operations manager, Rudy Ackerman, who's my awesome accountant, and Palua, who's my menu and deco facilitator, Brave Koza, my barista, Matuto, my waitress, as well as we've created 3 part-time job opportunities. From when we projected the amount, we've made 4 times the amount we projected. So over there, we've made 115,000 from just the 7 months that we started from February until now. We are projecting to scale up and make at least, we've made at least 128,000 in profits next year. My short-term goals, in the next 6 months, I plan to have a vegetable garden where people who are suffering with mental issues or just want to de-stress, they can come and work in this environment, which will in turn produce a lot of food for other people in the community. We also want to do art shows, because what I also realized, I deal with depression and anxiety through drinking tea and coffee and meditating. But some people deal with it through art, music, and just reading a book. So we want to create an environment and a home where people can actually do that. In the 1-year plan, we have and we are planning to have cottages in the plot where people can come and stay with us, because it's sad to be alone and be lonely. So we want to create a home and a space where people can come and join us in this conversation and just living a healthy and normal life. In the next 2 years, we plan to have another second home, because this will be so big that will fit everybody else. We ask Anzisha Prize to fund us with 360,000. This amount will go to a vegetable garden, which will cost 8,000 rand, 260,000, which will go to the cottage and kitchen renovations, and also pay furniture and utensils for 42,000, art and music equipment with 10,000, marketing and psychologist, food and drinks. So what we're also trying to do is ask volunteers, psychologists to come and volunteer, look at how people are doing, get involved with like the space that we have created here. So they also like need food even though they're volunteering their time. So the 40,000 will go to that. We're trying to create a home where people can actually feel loved and appreciated. It's not okay to go through something alone, but we are doing this with the love and tea of coffee, the aroma that it brings. Thank you so much.
You did good. How do you feel? How do you feel? No pressure anymore. No pressure.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm good.
I think we have time for 2 questions.
Yes.
Bita?
First of all, congratulations. It was an
Thank you.
excellent pitch, an excellent idea. It's really brave to come forward and talk about an experience with mental health. As someone who struggled a lot with anxiety, I really appreciate what it is that you're doing. My question is related to how to ensure that what you're doing is sustainable. So what are some of the income generating activities that you've thought of in addition to the coffee and tea products and services that you're selling?
Okay, we've also tried to just involve everybody else. So what we do is we have an event site. As I said, Rudy is my event coordinator. So we're trying to ask people, if you want to host a conference, if you want to host a baby shower, come through. So that's also been our most profitable part of the business.
Chris?
I just want to comment.
Yes.
Thanks. Thanks for the presentation. I concur with her fully. I think mental illness is probably the next biggest killer that we are facing as a continent. So I'm very happy that you're doing something about it. The comment I just wanted to make was I would recommend that you rethink how you're positioning your business, because it says restaurant, but I think your offering is beyond a restaurant. So if you can spend time thinking about how you should be positioning it, because I don't think it's properly positioned.
Okay, thanks.
It's a restaurant, but it's also a safe place where there's accommodation so people can stay there. So it's like restaurant and also
in an organization.
Yeah. Saran?
Quick question. The space, the land, who owns the land?
It's owned by Rudy Ackerman, the accountant.
Okay.
Yes.
They donated the land?
No, we all stay in the property, him and his family, myself, and all the workers. So the coffee shop, the tree garden, we rent out the space from him.
Okay, so you're renting the
Yes.
space.
Okay, so this is really doesn't have so much to do with the business, but more to do with judging, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's assume there is a tie. Why should we pick you? If there is a tie between you and somebody else, why should we pick you?
You should pick me because I'm fighting one of the leading causes of death in Africa. It's up against issues like cancer and HIV and AIDS. So it's really a huge issue. And the problem is that people in South Africa or at Africa at large, they don't take it seriously, especially black homes. They say, oh, you have white people's diseases. So it should be taken seriously, and that's why you should really, really pick me.
Congratulations. So if you're watching the show right now, know that you can vote online. So go to anzishaprize.org and you can vote. Pick not the winner, because they are all winners, but your favorite company, the one you want to support. You can also send us your questions. And if you send us your questions on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, we'll be able to eventually pick your question, and you will win something incredible. Before we go to the next participant, I want to highlight that Anzisha Prize received over 600 applications this year. 70% were male, the rest were female. We had applications from over 39 countries. So if you're watching the show right now, know that you can also be one of the next participants next year. It's really open. We try to empower young entrepreneurs, and it's really easy to apply. It's online, the process is really easy. If you don't have a computer, we can figure out a way to support you. So even if you just have a small company, you can apply. Don't be impressed by the caliber of our contestant today. It's pretty open. So, I know there's pressure in the room. The next entrepreneur, he's just 22. He's from my home country, Cameroon, and his name is Awa Nse. Welcome him, please.
$1.8 billion industry. Rising import costs, rising market prices, communal insufficiency. That's the story of the African cosmetics industry. $52 million US dollars. Over 350 million US dollars lost by my country and Africa, respectively, in less than 3 years to the lack of biosecurity practice. We have two big problems. First, Africa needs natural beauty products. Women particularly need eco-friendly products, cosmetic products to regularize their skin imperfections. Secondly, livestock farmers need a farm-to-farm disease control mechanism to limit against enormous losses like bird flu and swine flu, which has cost us so much over the years. So I would like to conclude with one of my favorite quotes, conclude my introduction. It is the set of our sails which determine which way we go, and not the direction of the wind. Okay, there is my business model. It's very, very easy to understand. For the biosecurity first, I organize the community locals in each farming district where people farm chicken and pigs to farm maize, which is a major cost drive of my clients who enlist my biosecurity service. This enables me to supply to them, to get maize at a cheaper price, supply to my clients at less than 20% of the normal price, and my clients are consequently make 25% more profit. This permits them to be able to, this permits many more people to enlist to my service because everybody wants to make more money and be more sufficient. Now, my cosmetic business model. Right there you see it is Snail. Snails, I produce beauty products from these snails, and I produce coconut oil and aloe vera oil, which are complementary products to the snail mucin. The major cost drive for snails, since they reproduce so much at an exponential rate, is feeding. And what I noticed is the best type of feed for them is food which is undergoing waste, like waste food. Where I could find this is in the local markets. The local markets have been very, very dirty in my country, choked up with this waste. What I do is I collect this waste, clean the market, and treat the waste and feed my snails with it. That way, my markets are cleaner. The market can attract better customers and even compete with supermarkets, I dare say. And I have solved a major cost drive in my industry by constantly having enough food to feed my snails. Our product stands out as foremostly snail mucin goes for all skin types. Coconut oil, aloe vera oil are very versatile products. We use them for hair, skin, and even diet. My products are country bred, meaning it supports local trade. To my biosecurity, we give a 2-month free trial service. I've really invested in this service because I'm the first company to actually start biosecurity measures in Cameroon. And we give that 2-month free service to actually sell the idea. So, and farmers as well reap 20% of their regular profit. The impact so far, we have enhanced local waste management. Higher market sanitary standards have attracted more clients to our local markets, to our people who are struggling to survive every day. And he has empowered a lot of women with over 750 recorded users. For the biosecurity, we have had a much more vibrant livestock community, which has produced more. There have been a lot of greater national output ever since. We have been following up now with the biosecurity service that we provide, over 15,000 chickens for other people. We have 18 employees. Future impact for my cosmetics, I intend to use my Snail mucin to produce many more cosmetic-related products like shower gels, face masks, and I also intend to get certification from laboratories in order to extend my product Africa-wide. My biosecurity, I intend for the government to make my product, my service impository, mandatory for all farmers, so we can all benefit, because biosecurity is a community exercise. I also intend to have online database information, have a crowd farming platform to support the locals, to have more investment, as well as introduce blockchain payment when that is going to be set up. Now, here are our financials. You see, we have had a rising profit at a considerably lower cost so far in cosmetics, because our major cost drivers at each level, as you can see on the major cost driver table down there, we are trying to overcome, we put a set cost driver and we overcome the cost driver. Now, in 2017, we made $1,500 US, 2018, 13,300, 2019, we projected 7,100. Biosecurity had not started in 2017. We began in early 2018. We made 1,600 before, and now we're making 5,000. In 2019, we intend to make 5,000 US. Now, just a quick recap of my story. I began entrepreneurship in late 2014. I owned a poultry farm. I had 20 chickens. And along the line, I battled through the different hustles of entrepreneurship. And in 2017, I finally got to 2,000 chickens. Just when I was about to see the light, bird flu attacked my country, salvaging over 3/4 of my investment. I had to start back. But I'm happy because it let me understand the missing value chain in Africa's agriculture, which is processing. I discovered that you could actually process what we have in our environment and make 4 times and 5 times as more than doing just regular products. Tertiary production was where all the money was. And the more money I made, the more anxious I was to go back and help the community, so that people who don't have the opportunity as I have, and people who are exposed to the dangers of biosecurity are saved. So my business model can be replicated all over Africa, for there are many livestock farmers everywhere, and the cosmetics are integratable in many countries owing to the need for skin products. Skin products are the second most demanded thing after food. Winning the Anzisha Prize will prompt cosmetic diversification for wider consumer choice. It will help me build skilled labor and marketing. More importantly, the exposure from winning the Anzisha Prize will help me sell my 2 ideas, which are firmly based and built on community building, as we rise by lifting others, and my business model drags the whole African community behind me. Thank you.
Hey, how do you feel?
Never felt better.
Okay. We have time for 2 questions. Who wants to start? Let's go.
Yeah. Great presentation. Thank you. But just one thing that I would like to just simplify. Which one is your main business in what you're doing? Is it the Is it the snails producing the oils? Is it the which one makes the most money? Which one do you
the snails
one you want
currently
to
the
focus
snails make the more money. The biosecurity is a service, so I follow up the service and the snails make the money. So it's easy to manage the teams. It's easy to manage them. That's why I multitask.
And how many snails have you got running at the moment? And what do they? How much product do they produce? And how big can it be?
Okay, I have currently 9,000 snails. They produce on an average 15 bottles of mucin each day, and I produce these to complement them 10 bottles, and I sell to the market at a relatively cheaper price owing to my low cost.
So how many bottles do you make in a month?
Okay, in a month?
Yeah.
In a month I make 280 bottles.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. Well done. Who are your primary customers for the snail mucin?
Okay. My primary customers are young girls.
Okay.
Because it cures stretch marks, which is a very, very big problem. I think I forgot to say that. It cures stretch marks, so young girls and financially independent women mostly. And for the coconut oil and the aloe vera, which are complements, the snail is like a soap, like a pre-bath thing. And this I advise to use after, so as not to make chemical oils interfere with the nature. So this is all around. People can use it as lipstick, as lip gloss. People use it like for your hair, so anybody can use it. For men, children, anybody. It's even drinkable. So that's just how pure it is. That's how organic it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us. You did great. I'm proud of you. Je suis fier de toi. I would love to hear from the jury. How do you have you discovered something about maybe Africa or certain issues that those young people try to solve?
For example, the young man from Sierra Leone who's manufacturing paper bags.
Yeah.
And says he's the only one
the
doing
only
that.
one. You realize the only one. That's crazy.
Massive. And the fact that he's solving an environmental problem, which is a really, really big issue for African countries, I think is commendable. The young man we just heard from, I'm really interested and curious in this this snail product, because I think for the Western market, you know, the beauty market is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and I don't think they've discovered the snail mucin just yet.
Yeah.
So I think there's huge potential there, but he'll need to focus in a little bit.
I can see myself with snails on my face,
yeah.
you know.
I think they'll eat this up.
Yes.
So, you know, I may want to talk to him about partnering up actually on that, but really impressive bunch so far.
Okay, cool. What about you guys?
Seeing Africans starting to add value to our primary products, because we've always been almost a net producer of our primary products, and they go and get processed elsewhere, and then they come back to us and we have to buy them at an expensive price. So really leveraging off our natural gifts and resources and ensuring that we keep the value on the continent. I think that's very exciting for me.
Personally, I'm impressed because they are very young. Like, remember, 18, 20, 21, and they decided to create jobs. They decided to solve major issues in their communities. I think there's a shift because for years, parents thought that the best thing for their children was to go to work for the government or for a big corporation. And oftentimes what we hear from them is it's difficult for them to have the support from their community, for their parents, and that's also why we try to change, at Anzisha. We try to provide the support system. We try to make sure that parents understand that entrepreneurship is also an opportunity. So some of you here are entrepreneurs. Can you share with us your own experience dealing with your parents and convincing them that entrepreneurship was not some foolishness?
Yeah, I consider it to be something worth sharing because I have my dad and my mom wanted me to be a medical doctor, They both wanted, like, they literally bought me books for me to study medicine. And then, funny story, right? I ended up doing computer science and get job offers at Microsoft and Google and a whole bunch of places. And my dad was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, just go. And I was like, no, I want to do. So parents, I think they feel they know what is right for their kids. And to be honest, they've gone through a lot. So they want their kids to not suffer as much as they have. So most times their advice is not because they don't want you to pursue your interest or your passion. It's just that they don't want you coming tomorrow and crying to them and telling them that you made the wrong decision. And what I feel is jobs, to be honest, would always be there. I feel that they will always be there. If you build the capacity, you have the skill sets, you don't really have to worry about them. But the truth is, I think we were saying this yesterday during the dinner. Imagine if I was working for any of these large corporates. The number of people who've gotten jobs through our platform would never, that would never happen. Imagine other entrepreneurs who are employing hundreds of people. So I think it's always good to try. It's good you try. What I feel is you get to regret the things you didn't try.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Than the things that you, because when you get older and you be like, probably if I had tried this, maybe it would have worked. So, but if you try it doesn't work, then you can try something else. But then at the beginning, give as much support parents, give as much support as young people who are looking to get into entrepreneurship. Try it. When you fail, then there's a story that you can tell. It's my...
Who wants to share?
I could chip in there. I think I was fortunate to have parents which, even though they... I was fortunate to have parents that... at least my mom, my father was a factory worker, so not much of entrepreneurship happening there. But mom was a teacher in a primary school, and she would always supplement her income by baking and selling fish and fried dough.
Yeah.
And then my pocket money was always from the provisions I was given to sell. So she make the stuff she would sell at her school, and I'll then go and sell at my school.
So she wasn't giving you any money. She was like, take a fish, sell it,
yeah,
and then you, okay.
I would keep my profits.
Okay.
And eventually I was the one loaning her money.
Okay.
But she never paid back. Anyway, but I think parents are really key. That there's nothing more important, because one word of encouragement from a parent to say go for it means gold for an entrepreneur. Yeah, it gives a person that confidence of really going out there and starting and failing and getting up. It is the main thing. So, but what I love and what I see is that more and more of the younger parents, guys in their 30s, 40s, are really encouraging their kids to take a different path, which is good, which is like you cannot rely on being employed, because that's actually more risky than employing yourself.
Yeah.
Or employing other people. Yeah.
Bita, you want to add something?
Yeah. Actually, I think my mic is fine, right? Yeah. Okay. No, I just wanted to add to that because my parents were entrepreneurs, and so I never had, those kind of tough conversations, but it's something that really pushed me to do it. But the thing is, even with that, my mother especially pushing me and saying, yes, you can do it, I believe in you, has really been the driving force, right? And knowing that, just knowing that you have that support, because the thing is with entrepreneurship, that's where you're going to learn the most about you. That's where you learn to be the most resilient. That's what I was so impressed hearing the fellows that have come so far. You hear their stories of resilience. They were knocked down and they got back up and they did it. A job will never teach you that. And as somebody who's been both an entrepreneur and have also worked for people, working for people is very risky, because when there's a restructuring, it is a risk. Okay, I have been through 3 restructurings.
Oh
I have been the one on either side of the restructuring. I know how it happens. As an entrepreneur, you know when things are going wrong, and you have the ability to pivot and to change. So this business of being risky, I have to say, if that's what's on your mind, honestly, grab entrepreneurship, because it is the best learning opportunity.
So, interesting points. I think that a lot of entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, the only thing they fear the most is failure. Failure, failure, failure. And I think parents care a lot about failure. They're like, if you fail, what are you going to do? And what people are going to say? And I think that because I failed myself, I understood that failure is one of the best diploma.
Yeah.
You will always find a job as a former entrepreneur because you show that you were able to create something from scratch, value. You were able to identify a market opportunity, to manage a team, to hire people, to be a great leader. So to the parents who are listening or viewing this show right now and the students, know that failure is not an issue. When you think about the most successful entrepreneurs, usually their current company is not the first one. They failed many times because entrepreneurship is also a muscle that you have to train. And in order to be able to take some big risk, you have to fail first. Chris, have you ever failed? Is it your first company, the company you presented 2 years ago? Can you share with us your experience?
So I actually started my first formal company when I was 19.
Okay.
It was called Microboat Smart Systems, basically an IT servicing firm. And we were working with firms as big as MTN, but then Microboat doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
But like you said, just that exposure to running a business, having to hire people, having to fire people.
The worst, the worst.
having to make certain decisions that could make or mar the growth of your business, and then having to tell yourself that you failed, and that there's learning that you have to take from this, and then starting a new business, you're definitely going to be better. And like we said yesterday during the dinner, right, that when you say that you need to get experience for you to run a business, the truth is, even after you get that work experience, what happens is your second business, your third business is not going to be, you won't make the mistakes you made when you started your first business. So the truth is, yeah. And I know you understand what
you will try to not make them.
but yeah, generally, there is going to be failure, even if you going through the corporate career route. And if you go in through entrepreneurship, generally you'd experience failure. But it's what happens after failure, the learnings that you can pull out of that failure, and then what you decide to do with it. That's really what matters.
You mentioned the fact that one of the hardest moment in the life of an entrepreneur is to fire people. We build companies, we try to create jobs, but as a young entrepreneur, at one point you have to decide if you have the right team. And maybe later we will have time to talk about it. But it's important for the audience to understand that our entrepreneurs are not just great people pitching stories. Every day they have to deal with a team of 2 to 50 people. And they have such a young age, and sometimes their own employees are older than them. So they have to deal with that, manage them, and it's a very, very important responsibility that they have. I guess now we are ready to move on the show.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't have the names, but the next participant is from a country that I love. A country that is always a challenge for me. This beautiful country is Nigeria. Nigeria that I had the opportunity to visit a few months ago, and I was pretty impressed by the number of entrepreneurs. Be ready for the next one. He's 21. His name is Bolu Watif Omo Tayo. Welcome. Good luck.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Bulwatife Omotayo, and I'm from Nigeria. So one of the things I did while I was on campus was I sold gadget electronics. So what I would do is I would go from room to room and I'll sell these things to my friend. So, but a particular day, one of my friends, his name is Keaton David. So Keaton called me and he's like, Bolu, I had this iPad that I want to fix. Do you know anyone who could fix it for me? So, but the actual thing is, that's not the problem. This is where the problem is. So this is Dotun. Dotun is one of Nigeria's biggest on-air personalities. And earlier this year, Dotun tweeted, I'm never visiting the local computer market in Nigeria again. I was just scammed. Now that's the truth. The truth is, once you go to the local computer market to get things yourself, the place is called Computer Village. It's one of two options. Is that you are scammed or you get a fake Chinese product. But the sad story is, that is just a single story. Because there are actually guys in the market who actually offer credible services. So I've happened to meet some of these guys and they will tell me how, because of the structure of their businesses being local, they are not able to reach a wider audience, number one. And because of stories like this that we read on the internet, people don't want to use their services. So what did I do for my friend? Because I was very familiar with the market and I understood the way the whole process happened in the market, what I did for him was just simple. I served as a link between my friend who needed a solution for his gadget problem and my other guy who was not getting enough customers. So what I did was, I solved his problem, my friend was happy, he told another friend, and over a period of 6 months, I was like the most popular guy on campus for gadget solutions. Something happened. After 6 months, I began to receive calls from other campuses around, and people began to call me that they needed my service. So I felt like this is actually bigger than I am, and it is something I really need to take serious. That was when I started Tap Digital. So I put up a team and we created an online plus offline platforms where users can conveniently access trusted artisans for solutions to their electronic problems. So it is two-sided. You have the customers and you have the repairers. So on the customer side, we've been able to help customers increase their confidence in these local guys by providing verified repairers who will sign up on our platform and giving them warranty on the products they have. So with me, I brought some of our products that we've been able to bring into the market. So the products are such that we put warranty on them for customers to have that certainty, and we put a check on it for them to be able to claim the warranty they have on this product. Now on the repairer side, we've been able to help them get wide access to market, and we've been able to increase their revenue, increasing their traction by about 30%. How big is this market? In Nigeria alone, we have 80 million Nigerians who use one or more gadget electronics. 50 million businesses transact and carry out business operations using these devices. And it may interest you to also know that this is a $1 billion market. But we are not vain in our operation. We have a target market, and our niche is to target campuses and to grow from there. So we are targeting just 1% of the entire market, which spans 165 campuses across Nigeria. How do we make money? We make money by selling these electronics. We sell them online. We sell them through our sellers on our structure. We created a network marketing structure for us to be able to expand fast and cover wider regions. We also make money from repairs. We make money from deliveries. And we also do an hour subscription. This is our team structure. Our team is strategically formed to involve 50% females in our core team structure because we wanted to have real intensive female participation in this market. Currently, over 5 campuses, we have 15 sellers signed up. We have 20 repairers spanning over 2 cities, and we partner with local riders in 2 cities to carry out our deliveries for us. Totally, currently, we've been able to create 50 jobs. Job creation, you can just look at it, 2017, 2018, we've increased from 5 sellers to 15 sellers, 20 repairers to 5 sellers, 5 repairers to 20 repairers. Definitely generating revenue. This is very massive. Last year alone, we made $20,000 in revenue. We've been able to increase this to $50,000. So all these are the things we've done in the past, but we definitely have bigger plans. We want to be able to train 500 female technicians to be involved in this process. We want them to help, because before now, what people do is they will leave their gadgets, abandon them to get a replacement for it. We are telling people that want to cut off this cost for you and help you work with these little funds to get more things done. So we want to get 3 offline offices more, process 500,000 orders, and we would need 300,000 in investment to run this. Impact would generate 2,000 jobs directly and indirectly, and of course get the $500,000 revenue. Thank you. Woo!
Hey. Great, great. What was the question? Bita?
Hi. First of all, great presentation.
Thank you.
I had a quick question on the annual subscriptions. Who's paying?
So we have businesses who sign up as, they take us in as retainership. So they subscribe so they can have full access to our services. You don't start running around. Once something just comes up, we just come out. And so we're able to raise 40% in profit margin because it's very interesting for us. All we just need to do for these businesses, we help them put safety precautions in place such that they don't begin to have problems that they can avoid from the beginning. So essentially, it's our expertise plus our solution bringing that we help businesses do. And in the space of 2 years, we worked with the government, Ondo State government twice. We helped them set up the laboratory in their government house, and we also worked with BIMO. That's the project that the Ondo State governor's wife is doing on empowering females in participating in technological business.
I'm invested in very similar businesses here in South Africa, so
Yeah.
I'm very interested in understanding your business model better, because what I've seen is people creating almost e-commerce platforms to aggregate the market. Is that what you're doing, or are you, it sounds like you're doing a number of things, and I'm trying to understand your business model.
Okay, so we do two things simply. We fix and we sell. So under the fixing, we serve as a link bridge between the repairers and the customers. Now, yes, on the platform. So what the customer does is they come online, they report the problem to us. We will send a dispatch rider over to them. They pick up the device, give it to one of the registered repairers on our platform, fix, and we deliver to them. And we also have a premium service where we send a repairer to fix on site for them.
Don't be CNN. Don't use that picture to represent Lagos next time. That is not a very good representation of Lagos. I wanted to say it. Don't be CNN. Secondly, I think it's pretty impressive what you're doing, but how do you manage efficiency? Because I see that back and forth between sending dispatch, locating a repairer, sending back to them. How do you manage efficiency?
So
do you use geolocation? How do you do the matching?
So efficiency for us is by understanding our coverage. So we set up offline offices to cover certain radius. So an offline office to cover a 100-kilometer radius, and we have local riders that help us run this delivery. And also in that radius, we have registered repairers in these places. So it is a radius. We are not going beyond what we're doing. That's the reason why we're situating ourselves around campuses. So a campus to cover a 100-kilometer radius, for example, and we sign up repairers around this place and partner with local riders to run our deliveries.
Okay. Man, you did it. You're like Drake. You were like. Oh, you did good, you did good. So the next participant is also from a country, and especially a city that I had the great pleasure to visit. She's from Cairo. And Cairo is, I don't know if a lot of people went there, but there's such a strong energy. People are so creative there. I was amazed by the youth. There's so many young entrepreneurs, and especially young women entrepreneurs, very creative. And I had the pleasure to meet the next participant a few days ago, and I can't wait for her to share her story. So she's from Egypt. She's 20 years old. Her name is Farah Emara, and she will introduce her company. Please welcome her. Look amazing.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu.
My name is Farah Hamara. I'm from Egypt. I'm studying art, and I'm the co-founder of Jidor. So, Jidor means wall in Arabic, and we use it to describe the pharaonic walls. And this is exactly what has always been inspiring for us. How pharaohs reflected their culture and told their stories on walls. And people up till now come to Egypt to know our history and our culture from these walls. This is exactly what we do now. We turn corporate cultures, brand values into customized designs and then implement it on walls. So Mustafa has graduated from the Faculty of Fine Arts 3 years ago. And despite his amazing talent, his professional life was constantly rough. One day he sells a painting, and other 100 days he doesn't. And his family's advice is, go get a real job. And here comes the problem. We have 4,000 fine art graduates every year all over Egypt. Only 2% make it as established artists. Why? Because artists lack the awareness on potential markets or how to enter them, and they also fail to communicate the value that they add. On the other hand, we have brands and corporates that are looking for new innovative ways. For the corporate sector, they are losing young talents to the startup market because startups have created this perception of cool, fun, creative work environments. And for brands, can you imagine? We are exposed to 4,000 ads every day. It's crazy. Like, the competition is extremely tense, and brands need to stand out. Jador. Jador is a matchmaking service that bridges the gap. We create customized physical environments that amplify brands and translate ideas. In the process, we are redirecting talents into different markets, minimizing the creative force losses and activating the unexplored potential. We do this through promoting visual artists, connecting them to different job opportunities so they are less forced to switch career and more encouraged to invest in their talent and establish an art career. We constantly grow our network of artists and while developing our own methodology that ensures we deliver timely, price-efficient, fast, clean, and organized process. Different customer bases are using our service differently. In offices, they use it to energize the work environment. In the commercial spaces, they use it to enhance the customer experience, and in schools and universities for educational purposes. We take 20 to 50 commission per transaction. We've been able to work on 120 Jador to provide job opportunities for 56 artists and to create average of 360 jobs and to generate total revenue of $20,000. Our go-to-market strategy was to launch at a very competitive price in an almost inactive market to build our brand and our market share. By the end of 2019, we'll have generated $100,000 by tripling our marketing budget, by launching a new product that will attract more customers, and by launching our website. We will also have created average of 600 jobs to over 100 artists. Our team. Actually, we started Jador with zero capital, which was quite challenging. Our founder, Sara is the CEO. We both co-founded a non-profit art organization 5 years ago that aims to empower arts and charity work through art. We've been able to work with 400 young artists and to partner with the National Cancer Institute. And Tasneem, she is our production manager. She's also a fine art student, and she is an art instructor. We are a team of 7. The market is growing, and we are asking for $55,000, and the Anzisha Prize will help us, will enable us to take this forward and grow. We will invest in our advertising and promotion to expand our sales, and we will also need to hire bigger team, and we will launch our website that will enable us to feature our artists' portfolios and work, and to make that process more efficient, faster, and better. We are working in a very untapped area towards solving a problem that will take many industries by storm. Mustafa now is a part of our network. He had the opportunity to work on Orange headquarter office and 3 other projects. We believe that art can change the society, but it's not one artwork that does it. It's the collective efforts of artists and institutions together. Thank you so much.
Congrats. Congratulations. Congrats. So, I think we have time for 2 or 3 questions. Chris?
What is the average earning for an artist on your platform?
Okay, so in order to provide our clients with diversity of pricing rates, we have 2 categories of artists. We have talented and professional. Professional is artists who graduated already, who have more experience working on huge walls, and talented are students who are just developing their talent. So every artist has it's his own pricing rate, and we provide the materials, the paint materials.
Just to understand your revenue model, you said you make a commission of between 20 and 50%, and then you showed us revenue figures. So is the revenue figure you are showing us your gross sale amount, or is it the actual commission itself?
It's the total sales.
The total sales?
Yes.
Do we have another question?
Quick question.
Sarah?
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you for your time.
Art is another undervalued
Of course.
sector on the continent. You mentioned launching a new product and a new website. What is the new product?
Okay. We'll be launching mosaic art and glass art. Also, we will provide our customized service on canvas because some clients don't like painting on their walls.
Okay.
It will attract more customers.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You did. Like, you did great. Thank you.
Thank you so
Please.
much for your time. Thank you.
So moving forward, we will continue to celebrate the great women entrepreneur from the Anzisha Prize. But before that, let's go back to my comment about firing people. Can you share some stories? No names, no specific companies, but just like your experience as you were building a team, and at one point you had to let go someone.
When I started my business, the idea of hiring somebody really scared me. And what I have found as entrepreneurs we make as a
Which are the
mistake
bathroom?
is we tend to want to hire people that we can afford, as opposed to people that we actually need as an organization. So I had made the mistake, of course, of hiring people because they were cheap, and over time I realized that they were actually costing me more money because they were making, very silly mistakes, which would then require the work to be redone, and therefore in the process you actually lose money. And one had to be very disciplined about understanding that having employees that do not add value to your organization is actually stealing from your organization. And
Stealing is such a strong word.
And I'm very deliberate about it.
Okay. I'm just
because you are paying somebody for a service that they're actually not giving you.
Yeah.
So you are actually stealing from the organization. And I think understanding that, being very clear about it as an entrepreneur, emboldens you to make the tough decisions of having the tough conversation that says, look, it's been good, but it's time that we parted ways.
So I totally agree with you, but, because there's always a but, the young people who are watching the show today are between 15 and maybe like 25. And when you're 15, you start a venture with your friends. And there's a lot of emotions and it's hard to tell a friend that he's underperforming. It's hard to say bye-bye to your friend and fire him because you know that you will also lose a friend. So what are your advices for those very young entrepreneurs who are building ventures with their friends?
One of the things that I've learned is the importance of having very clear key performance areas that you agree to upfront, whether it's with your employees or whether it's with your business partner. And what I've come to learn a little bit more recently is right up front, you almost have to say that should we not work out, how are we going to part? So you set the rules up front, so that when the time comes, it's an objective and easy conversation to have. But of course, I learned this the hard way.
We always learn the hard way. Someone wants to add something? Chris.
So yeah, what you just said is like everything. When we start with the people we can afford and the friends we have around.
What do you mean we can afford?
Yeah, people who are going to offer the service for free, basically. Okay. So, and then they're usually our friends. And one of the mistakes we make is not having clear KPIs we use to judge performance. We want people who can just, I just need you to do this, do it. I need you to. But as you keep growing, you find out that you need people who can actually think for themselves and actually give you results. So, I've had to change my team 3 times. Like, when I say change, I mean like everybody had to go, except my co-founder, who happens to be my younger brother. And one of the reasons why I and my brother have worked together for this long is I personally trained him. So and he went on to build the skill sets that really help get us to where we are and help us, even when we want to go further. So I think, again, there's this excuse we give that people don't have skill sets that we want them to have. But the truth is many companies don't even commit to helping their staff build the capacity they want them to. So it's usually very important that while they should meet certain minimum requirements, you should also expose them to building capacity and give them opportunities to learn. And I think when people realize that you take their opinions and you give them opportunities to learn, they'll actually show you even more commitment to helping you grow.
So what I love about this show is like we have the entrepreneurs coming on stage, but we also have the opportunity to learn from you guys about entrepreneurship and the thousands of people watching the show. I hope that they are taking everything from you and that we will start a venture. Now it's time to go to Uganda. Have you been there? We have the great opportunity to learn about this great country from Joanne Nalumbega. Please welcome her.
Yes, once again, I'm Nalumbega Joanne from Uganda, co-founder Ugandex. When I was a little girl, I suffered a lot from malaria, to the extent that I could get it every week. Some of the consequences were, I missed school a lot, and most of my schoolmates thought I had HIV because of my sickly life and my body size then. Did you know that malaria kills more than 3,000 people every single day in the world? And the World Health Organization records 292,000 African children every year that die from malaria. And in Uganda, the country where I've grown up from, malaria kills up to 10,500 people every single year in one country. Unlike other malaria prevention measures that are available, like the use of mosquito nets, which cannot provide protection all around the clock, the spraying of DDT in homes and in communities that causes health hazards and also do not reach all the affected communities. The use of chemical mosquito repellents that not only contain a dangerous chemical DEET, which causes skin cancers and other diseases, but it's also very expensive for the mostly affected people. And again, the mostly affected people lack awareness, knowledge about malaria. Ugandex, we have provided a solution that can create impact starting from the core of the problem by providing an organic, affordable, locally produced mosquito repellent soap that can provide you 6 hours protection from mosquito bites when you use it for bathing. To increase awareness about malaria, we carry out sensitization campaigns where we teach the mothers the causes, the treatment, and also the possible ways of preventing malaria from their homes and their children. Our customers are the mothers with children below 5 years in rural communities, the eco-conscious tourists, and the hotels looking for a natural way of preventing mosquito bites. Ugandex, we started in 2016, and since then we've been able to produce 2,600 products and we have generated a revenue of $6,600 US. We have 5 hotels that are buying from us. We have 2 distributors in the city, 11 local shops that are selling our products, and we are partnering with all hospitals in the PG district. We have carried out 26 sensitization campaigns and have reached up to 1,000 persons in the central Uganda. According to data tracking from PG Hospital, they gave us feedback that we've been able to contribute to the reduction of malaria in the PG district specifically of up to 20% in just 18 months. And a mother of triplets, Nalongo, who used to go to the hospital all the time because of her children being sick from malaria, she has gone twice in the hospital in 1 year since she started putting in action our awareness campaigns. We have employed over 20 women in the production of essential oils who earn a living from there. We have 2 youths that are working with us in our production. And winning the Anzisha Prize will enable us increase on our equipment to scale us to meet our market demand because it's very high. Also, it will enable us increase our production factory capacity and also add on our equipment of producing essential oils. This all will enable us to decrease malaria cases in Uganda up to 20% all over Uganda in 2 years, and also reach up to 1 million people all over Uganda through our sensitization. Employ 100 women around the local communities of Uganda and 20 youths. Therefore, Ugandans will not only tackle one of the biggest health challenges in Africa, but we are also creating employment opportunities for women and youths who never had hopes of getting decent jobs. I'm not doing this alone. I have a team of 5 members. I'm in charge of the operations and product development, and we are working with 4 chemistry students in Mannheim University and 2 chemistry students in Makerere University, Uganda. We believe in winning the fight against malaria, but we cannot do this alone. We need your support. It's your time to join us. Thank you.
Thank you. So I will take only 2 questions from the jury.
How much protection do you have? Great presentation, by the way, before I even start with the question. How much protection do you have, and what stops a big company like Unilever copying what you're doing and doing it tomorrow morning?
Okay, so first, I need to talk about this. We are certified by the National Drug Authority Uganda as a public health product, and the protection that we are having is we have developed the formula that we use as Ugandex from, we've done tests, and even up to now, the different companies that have tried to come up with that solution can make one solution, it works, the next time it doesn't work. So we have, we also want to get in touch with other people in other countries to produce the product, because malaria is a widespread thing. So Unilever, we can work with it as Ugandex, but it's hard to copy because we got the formula ourselves and we've developed it, and it's hard. Even as it was hard for us to really make it stand.
Okay, last question. Who wants to go? Rita?
I guess following up, well, first of all, great presentation and great product that you guys are doing. I'd love to speak with you after. Actually, I worked in public health before, so my mind is racing right now. But to follow up on what you just said, is the formula patented?
No, it's not yet patented, but we plan to work on patenting it.
Okay.
Don't say it out loud. Patented first.
It is patented.
It is.
Patented.
Now.
It is.
It's now.
It's now. Okay, now it is. You did great. You did great. Congratulations. Congratulations. So now we're going to Kenya. This young entrepreneur is only 22, and his name is Kevin Kibet. Please welcome him. How do you feel, my man? You feel good?
I feel good. Finally,
you got it. You got it. You got it.
I can make my story known.
Here's the control.
Thank you.
You're in charge.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, judges.
Good afternoon.
Everybody present today. My name is Kevin Kibet Mochama, and I am a 22-year-old smallholder farmer from Kenya, passionate about delivering change to my community. So, my company is called For-Maja, and I want to take you to Kenya real quick. Meet Esther. Esther is a 57-year-old smallholder farmer in Kericho, Kenya. For many years, she has depended on her 4-acre plot of coffee to sustain her and her 10 children. Yes, it is a true story. She does have 10 children. Now, in a few months, Esther's coffee will be enjoyed in cities across the world. It's true that for many years, Africa has fed the world. But despite her best efforts, year after year, Esther continues to receive less and less income from her coffee. And with so many mouths to feed, she is slowly but surely sliding into poverty. Now, Esther is not alone. The FAO estimates that 56% of smallholder farmers in Africa still live in poverty, and 51% are food insecure during certain periods of the year. The reason for this is broken value chains, which rob farmers of their rightful earnings. Outdated technologies, which mean that farmers can make less than their full potential. And of course, limited access to factors of production. I mean, those 10 children each have to get a piece of that land. So in 2016, after spending 3 months on the ground talking to Esther and other farmers who, like me, face the same challenges, limited factors of production, and lack of access to markets and support services, I decided to start For-Maja to effectively deliver proven technologies to smallholder farmers that would then improve their incomes and improve their standards of living. We do this by providing 3 key services to farmers like Esther. We provide high-quality inputs, like grafted seedlings and fertilizer. We then follow it up by providing training and extension to bridge the skills gap that exists due to collapsed extension systems, to ensure that farmers like Esther can get the quality and the quantity that they need to meet market demands. We then provide market linkage for her produce by guaranteeing offtake and minimum price through contracts that we sign with farmers like Esther. So we started in 2016, and we started by developing a smallholder demonstration plot on which we could show farmers practically what it was that we were trying to get them to adopt. So far, we've planted 1,000 trees on the farm, and we've managed to reach at least 650 farmers directly or indirectly, enabling them to develop skills that have allowed them to guarantee food security and better their incomes. All this, of course, was sustained by a $20,000 seed fund that we got earlier this year that has enabled us to develop 12,000 seedlings, and we have since distributed 5,000 with 130 farmers planting end of last month. Now the future for us so I started in 2016 with a team of farmers. So we'd like to consider ourselves as farmers for farmers, because let's face it, nobody knows the plight of farmers better than another farmer. And so I lead a team of lead farmers on the ground who effectively deliver services across the last mile to the farmer on the ground. And it also saves our cost and enables us to penetrate deeper because farmers trust each other. I also have advisors who have been instrumental in guiding the vision and the mission of the company. So our future is looking bright. We're looking for assistance to reach 1,000 farmers over the next 3 years. With $25,000, we can generate 83,000 seedlings, which would allow us to reach 1,000 farmers over the next 3 years. With an average income increase of $1,500 per farmer, in the next 5 years, we're looking to improve farmer income by $1.5 million. Our impact so far, we've reached 130 farmers directly, 30% of who are women, and we've planted 5,000 seedlings. The journey of 1 million farmers has just begun with one farm, For-Maja. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you, sir.
So we have time for 2 questions. Want to start?
Kevin, thank you for your presentation. It was a good presentation.
Thank you.
Just to understand, are you trying to aggregate a market?
Yes.
The farming market?
Yes. We are trying, sorry.
Are you trying to aggregate it? And then also, who are the off-takers on the other end? Because you are off-taking from the smallholder farmers. Who are the guys that you're selling to?
Okay. So yes, we like to consider that we are trying to collectivize farming activities from input distribution to training and extension and to market access. So to achieve the economies of scale that would allow us to penetrate premium global markets. And so to answer your question, the markets that we are then selling this produce to are premium global markets, which would allow farmers to make the most that they can from their produce.
And they are on board now? Or are you still working on building that base?
We are, although we are in talks already with various off-takers in the Netherlands and in China to secure contracts, but that is also based off of developing a critical mass that you can supply. And that is why we need to put as many trees as we can on the ground. And in the next few years, we can have a pack house, and we can have consistent supply to international markets.
So I think you're good. You did great.
Yeah.
Kevin, thank you. Thank you. It was great to see you evolve, and you did very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Don't forget to send us your questions on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, at Anzisha Prize. Also, you can vote online on our website, anzishaprize.org, anzishaprize.org, and choose your favorite participant. Now, we will welcome a young entrepreneur from Uganda. He's 22, and his name is Samson Kiseka. Please welcome him.
Kiseka Samson, and I'm a mushroom farmer. I was raised from a mushroom family. My background, I come from a farming family, and here we used to do substance production. We grew a number of crops, and that's how we could support ourselves back in the days. I was raised by a single mother, and she supported me together with other siblings of mine throughout school. And she made me go into an agriculture college because it was her desire that I become an agriculturalist. So things came bad, and I had to drop out of school. I had to get some money for myself, so I tried a number of activities, and among these there was mushroom growing. Mushroom growing, I found it lucrative in such a way that I managed to get myself back to school from the money I collected with just a simple production, and I completed my diploma in agriculture. The current statistics suggest that the current production stands at 20 tons per month. That's the demand for mushrooms that we've got from our country. And currently, the farmers who grow mushrooms can only supply a quarter of this. I found out that this is such a great opportunity that needs to be fixed. Currently, from when I tried to make research about our agriculture section, I found out that the Ministry of Agriculture said that the production of mushroom, farmers are only less than 1% who are engaged in mushroom production. And I thought that maybe this is the reason why there is a huge demand for mushrooms. I came into mushroom production and have been doing well, but I found it difficult that if you're doing mushroom production and you're alone, it's really hard to do it, to make the impact, to get out your goal. And when I tried to dig deep in it, I found that farmers are scattered and they cannot influence the market. And the other thing, mushroom production is a bit technical. It's very hard. You have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. So I had to find means of solving that. So we came up with How Mushrooms Uganda Limited. And How Mushrooms, we support mushroom farmers to produce mushroom in sufficient quantities, and we take them through training, we supply seeds to them, and then we connect them to the market. We make money by making farmers subscribe into our network, and we charge them a specific subscription fee. And that's one of the revenue streams. And then the other thing, we supply them seeds at a margin between 20 to 25%. We also sell their produce to the market and also make commission, which with a margin of 10%. Currently, we have about 35 farmers, and we've been able to be succeeding from year to year. Last year, we made about $1,500, and this year we project maybe we'll be able to make something like $3,400. And out of that, the total revenue, profits are about 15% of that. We hope that when we get more farmers, maybe our margin will increase. So Hell Mushrooms currently employ about 12 people. That's our staff, including other 2 co-founders. And we have, from our network of 35 farmers, they're able to create jobs up to 105 because mushroom growing is a bit labor intensive. The total job created are about 117. Besides that, mushroom farmers benefit from the nutritious aspect of mushrooms. As we know, mushrooms are very nutritious. And then the other thing, they're able also to support their families and educate their children. This is our team. That's the head of training, that lady. That's the head of production, head of marketing, and other manual staff. Then our future plans, we plan to increase our farmers to a network of about 500 farmers. And from here, we expect to raise about 30 tons of mushrooms. That's a month. And also generate about a project sum of $120,000. And 2,000 jobs will be created. We hope to achieve this by setting up a centralized workplace whereby farmers can access and also buyers can access it, and also get means how we can collect and distribute mushrooms. So we hope that we shall use part of the Anzisha Prize money to cater for some of these costs. Thank you. Let me hear from you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. So these products, we are trying to develop our marketing idea strategy, because just in case we fall short of our targets, we have to get something which can back us. And we have started selling, though we haven't sold much of this, but we're trying to develop whereby we can add value to some of our produce and can back up our marketing. This is mushroom juice. We have mushroom porridge, and then have mushroom powder and mushroom coffee.
Oh, mushroom juice.
Yeah.
Great. Do we have another question?
It is where you can taste. You can test. I bought that specifically for the judges.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. You did great. You did great. I think now it's time to go to Zambia. I've never been there. I'm excited to go there. So the next entrepreneur, she's 21. Her name is Kondwani Banda, and I'm very excited to welcome her. Please welcome Kondwani Banda. Hey, how you doing? You good?
I'm good.
You look beautiful.
Thank you so much.
This is your stage.
Okay.
Let's go.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. My name is Kondwani Banda, and I am co-founder and editor-in-chief of the Mainstream magazine. So the Mainstream magazine is a digital platform that specializes in telling authentic African stories in the sphere of entrepreneurship, lifestyle, fashion, and entertainment, whilst providing digital advertising solutions. We believe in an Africa where the media takes responsibility to inspire development through telling the empowering stories of its people. Each and every one of our issues has the power to inspire someone differently. Our first issue was a story of a successful Zambian film. It had the power to inspire a young producer. Our second publication was a story of a 20-year-old young entrepreneur and now Anzisha Fellow. It had the power to inspire a young woman seeking to venture into business. As a platform, we do not only specialize in delivering high-quality content, but we seek to engage our users to make them feel like a platform by providing engaging and interactive content, interactive user experiences. We do this using our various platforms, with the first being our mobile application. So with this mobile application is available on iOS and Android. It allows for our users to save their favorite reads for offline access. It allows for video and audio playing, and also allows for them to subscribe to direct mobile notifications of our top stories. Our PDF platform, our PDF publication is distributed via WhatsApp to over 12,000 recipients. And it also allows for video and audio playing and is available offline. Our last platform is dedicated to our low-end users. These are users that do not have the devices to accommodate the application and the PDF. We generate revenue of advertising on all these platforms. They have a combined potential revenue of $50,000 annually. Our target advertisers are small business owners for whom we want to provide affordable advertising for them. These are numbers from past, present, and future. In 2017, we had subscribers of 1,500. We have managed to grow our subscribers to over 12,000, and we foresee a future of over 50,000 subscribers. We're currently standing at a web traffic of 91,000, and we generate $1,000 in web revenue. We source our ads from Google Ads. As a magazine, we're currently not generating revenue, but we sought to solve that problem by of getting directly sold ads through employing an advertising manager. Our team is made up of me. I am the editor-in-chief, a media and communication student, our publisher, who is a student in IT and in information technology, an advertiser who's graduating in marketing, our financial manager, who's a degree holder in accounting, and 8 writers. Our short-term plans are delivering visual content that is around the content that we already produce, and we will distribute this using our application. We also aim on creating a separate platform, which is going to be mainstream humanitarian, voicing out for the voiceless. What we need in order to achieve this is studio and camera equipment, as we are currently outsourcing our pictures and videos. We don't have the equipment right now. Advertising input to boost all our platforms, and tools for our writers for them to be able to do that. Office space, which we have found an office space that we'll be able to get at 1,500 for 2 years, and operating capital for the first quarter. We are currently asking for a capital injection of up to 11,000 in order to employ more youth, in order to tell and disseminate our empowering stories to better in Africa, to empower a young generation of entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Congrats. You did great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have some questions? Yes, Vita?
I think that what you guys are doing with WhatsApp is really interesting. So sending the PDFs, and I was wondering what is the traffic that's coming from there versus the mobile app?
We send it out to over 12,000 recipients, and we have about a 75% response rate, as opposed to the actual website where people actually have to follow a link to read the stories. So people prefer having content delivered to them directly, which is another problem we're hoping to solve. We're hoping to solve with the application, because people will be able to receive notifications of top stories. Yeah.
Thank you.
Chris?
If we could go back to your financials, those numbers stated, are they monthly or is that your annual?
Oh, that was annual. That was annual.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you indeed for a good presentation. I'm just going to comment on the numbers. I don't want you to respond to them. They look odd in 2020. I don't know how you move from 12,000 to, I don't remember what the number was, but it's a very big jump.
Yes.
So just think about that. And I wanted to just understand what your thinking is around scale, because this sounds like a very Zambian product for now. So how are you planning to scale? That's number one. Number two, also just thinking about how you further monetize. So because you're saying you're targeting SMEs to advertise on your platform.
Sorry?
You said you are targeting SMEs to advertise on your platform. And I was just thinking again, if you can think about how you position this so that you can get big corporate to actually pay you for doing this work.
We also target big corporate, but we currently realize that there's a problem with small business owners getting advertising. It's very expensive for them. So we not only give them platforms, but we create advertising for them. So we create these templates for them that they can use on their own. They don't have to necessarily pay for our platform, but yeah. And the issue of it being a Zambian-based platform, because we're digital, we're able to tell stories from everywhere. We sent out questionnaires. Our last month, actually, the other month, we had our cover story was a Tanzanian artist. So we're not just covering Zambia, we're covering different parts in Africa. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You did great. So now is the time to welcome a young entrepreneur from Angola. She's 21. Her name is Lorena Bundi. Lorena, please welcome her.
Hello everyone, my name is Lorena Domeda Bund. I'm from Angola. I'm 21 years old. I'm finalist student of Management, Marketing and Commercial. É prazer estar aqui como a primeira mulher lusófona desde a fundação deste prémio.
It's a privilege to be here as the first Angolan and Lusophone woman to be part of the Anzisha Prize.
Sou fundadora da LC Buffet Infantil.
I am the founder of LC Buffet Infantil.
Aproveito a oportunidade para vos apresentar a Ana.
I'd love to take this opportunity to introduce you to Anna.
Ana está grávida.
Anna is pregnant.
Estamos em 2015.
We are in 2015.
Ana procura por uma empresa que possa organizar o seu chá de bebê.
Anna is looking for a company that can organize her baby shower.
Ana tem tido diversas dificuldades.
Anna is struggling to find a company.
Porque as poucas empresas que aparecem cobram um valor superior ao que ela possa pagar.
Because the few companies that are in the market charge high prices.
Ana decide partilhar essas dificuldades com a sua prima de apenas 17 anos de idade.
Anna decides to share her difficulties with her cousin that was only 17 years old at that time.
Na verdade, essa prima sou eu e assim surgiu a LC Buffet Infantil.
In fact, that cousin is me and that's how LC Buffet Infantil emerged.
Posteriormente, organizamos outro chá de bebês.
Afterwards, we organized other baby showers.
E numa perspectiva de manter os clientes a longo prazo,
and as a strategy to maintain their clients in the long term,
decidimos começar a organizar festas de criança, que tem sido o nosso maior foco.
We decided to start organizing child events, which is our main focus.
Constatamos que os pais têm diversa dificuldade de racionalização de tempo e dinheiro.
We realized that there are two problems. The first one is the rationalization of money and time.
Tempo.
Time.
A jornada laboral não lhes permite planejar nem realizar a festa do seu filho.
Their laboral journey does not allow them to organize and plan the events for their kids.
Dinheiro.
Money.
A contratação de diversos serviços acaba por encarecer a festa.
Looking for different services from different companies make the parties or the events much more expensive.
Atendendo a essa necessidade, a LC oferece diversos serviços e pacotes completos que atendem à necessidade de cada encarregado.
Attending those necessities, LC Buffet Infantil provides complete services to organize child events.
Como decoração, montagem de brinquedos e lanches para crianças.
And those services include catering and toy assembly.
Segundo a Unicef, 15% da população em Luanda tem menos de 18 anos.
According to UNICEF, 15% of the population in Angola is under 18 years old.
Realizamos 5 eventos por mês, 60 por ano e contamos com 160 eventos realizados desde a presente data.
We have an average of 5 events realized per month, 60 per year, and a total of 160 since the foundation of LC Buffet.
O nosso público-alvo são os funcionários públicos, funcionários privados, empresários e outros.
Our target market are public and private employees and entrepreneurs and businessmen.
Na verdade, nós não acreditamos em concorrentes, mas sim parceiros de negócio.
In fact, we don't believe in competitors, we believe in business partners.
Porque existem algumas empresas que prestam serviços para festas infantis, mas não de uma forma completa.
Because most of the companies that are in Angola, concretely in Luanda, they provide separate services and not complete services.
Aí está a nossa diferença. Nós fazemos esse único serviço para os clientes.
That's our value proposition. We provide complete services.
As nossas formas de captação de clientes são através das redes sociais como Instagram e Facebook.
Our first marketing strategy is through social media, which is Facebook and Instagram.
Locais físicos como creches, feiras, escolas primárias.
Physical locations such as kindergarten, primary schools and fairs.
A indicação é uma das nossas formas de marketing, porque as pessoas acreditam mais naquilo que ouvem do que qualquer outra imagem que possam ver.
Through the quality of our services, our clients are able to recommend our
services to other potential clients.
O foco é no benefício do nosso serviço.
We focus on the benefit of the customer.
Mas nada disso seria possível sem essa equipa jovem e dinâmica formada por 15 jovens.
And none of this would be possible without this brilliant team composed by 15 elements.
Eles são capazes de manter a qualidade da nossa qualidade de excelência mesmo sem a minha presença.
Even with her absence, they're able to manage everything with excellence.
Identifiquei-me com as necessidades de uma jovem universitária.
I identified a financial necessity of a university student.
E a forma que eu tive de ajudar é de empregar esses jovens como part-time.
And the best way to help them was to employ them as part-time employees.
Eles trabalham como protocolos, monitores.
And they work as protocols and monitors.
As nossas projeções financeiras permitem observar aonde nós estávamos, aonde nós estamos e aonde nós pretendemos ir.
Our financial projections allow us to know where we were, where we are, and where we want to go.
Esse crescimento foi possível através do aumento da produção, do aumento de empregados.
And this growth was achieved through an increase in production and an increase in employees.
E nós pretendemos aumentar a produção, diminuir os custos e empregar mais jovens.
And we intend to increase production and reduce the costs at the same time.
Para a realização do nosso plano de crescimento, nós precisamos de mais máquinas, mais matérias-primas e mais materiais de operação.
Our growth plan consists on having more machinery, having more mini playgrounds and roulettes, as is mentioned.
Para atender a demanda.
In order to attend the demand.
E se nós fazemos 5 festas por mês, nós podemos fazer 10.
If we organize 5 events per month, why not 10?
E com uma previsão de custo, nós precisaríamos de $27,000.
And the cost for that would be $27,000.
Empregaríamos mais 2 jovens full-time e mais 10 part-time.
And the possible impact of that would be employing 2 more young people as a full-time and possibly 10 part-time.
E o acesso à qualidade do entretenimento infantil em Angola.
And increase and improve the quality of the child entertainment in Angola.
O segundo plano é construir a Canuco Space.
And the second plan is to build a Canuco Space.
Para atender o problema que os encarregados têm de espaço físico, aumentar a produção nos dias de semana.
In order to attend the demand for a physical location and at the same time to rationalize the time and money.
Para a conclusão desse segundo plano, nós precisaremos de $200,000.
In order to achieve that plan, we need $200,000.
Empregaríamos mais 15 jovens full-time e mais 50 part-time.
And the possible impact of that would be employing 15 full-time employees and 50 part-time.
Thank you.
Congrats. Congratulations. Do I have questions? Yes, go ahead.
Great presentation, and I love your concepts. I have kids, so I can relate. I wanted just to check in terms of your proposition. Have you considered the really making at the forefront the importance of play in kids and how the psychological benefits of it rather than the party and fun part?
Ele está a perguntar tudo diferencial, o teu valor de população. Será que já começaste a pensar qual é a diferença que podes criar no pensamento psicológico? Qual é o impacto que podes ter, não só tipo no entretenimento, mas algum possível benefício que as crianças podem ter através dos teus eventos?
É assim, através dos nossos eventos, as crianças têm vários benefícios, como é, porque nós pretendemos realizar sonhos e marcar infâncias.
Okay, so basically, there's an impact that
Para as crianças.
There's a positive impact for the kids. So her team focuses on how to organize and plan the events, but at the same time on how to take care of those kids in the event. And at the same time, for the moment, we're saying?
Marcar infâncias, não?
Okay, or to mark their childhood with amazing activities at the same time, right? Actividades infantis. Yes.
Do you have another question?
I just think it's a really unique concept, and I love your earrings.
That's great. Congratulations, you did great. Congrats. Thank you so much. Congrats.
Thank you.
So now, we have the great opportunity to go back to my home country, back to Cameroon, you know? So The next participant, she's 22. Her name is Melissa Bime, and please welcome her like a lion from Cameroon. How you doing? Yeah, good luck.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Melissa Bimi. I'm from Cameroon, and I'm the CEO and founder of Infused, which is an online blood bank and an emergency blood supply chain platform. 2 years ago, I was in my final year of nursing school, and I had a patient called Rita. Rita was 5 years old, and she had been admitted into the pediatric ward presenting with severe anemia after a bout with malaria. The hospital we were in didn't have a blood bank, and so Rita's mom was charged with looking for blood from donors or volunteers for her to be able to get a blood transfusion. And unfortunately, 2 days later, Rita passed away because her mother was unable to get this blood that she needed. Being a nursing student, death had become a normal thing to me, so there was no big deal here. But a week later, we had exchange students that came in from another school, from another hospital that was about 30 minutes away. And when we were talking about this case, one of the students said she had worked at the blood bank of the hospital before coming here, and this blood that we were looking for Rita was available in their blood bank. And so with this new discovery, I began to wonder why hospitals had to work as individual entities instead of finding ways to collaborate to be able to achieve favorable outcomes for patients. Upon doing more research on this problem, I realized that in Cameroon, 72% of hospitals do not have blood banks, and they have to depend on the blood banks of 28% of hospitals that can barely meet up to their own needs. Every day in Cameroon, 1 in 6 people will die because they do not have access to life-saving blood, and 40% of this number is made up of pregnant women suffering from complications such as miscarriages, postpartum hemorrhage, abortions, and children under the age of 5, as was in Rita's case. After graduating nursing school, I decided to tackle this problem by starting Infused, which is a digital database that connects hospitals that have blood banks to those that don't have blood banks through a digital platform that contains the information of hospitals with blood banks, all of the information including the type of blood and the quantity, which we update on a daily basis. We give patients and healthcare personnel the opportunity to be able to make a request for blood by phone call, SMS, or by our mobile application, through which they can state the type of blood they need, the quantity, and the hospitals in which they are located in. We are able to source this blood on the digital database because we know exactly which hospital has which blood at every given point in time, and send out a medical dispatch team to pick up this blood on motorcycles and deliver it to the patients. We started this 16 months ago. We've been able to transport over 2,800 units of blood between 23 hospitals in Yaoundé, and have also been able to sell over 250 units of blood from our in-house blood bank, therefore generating revenue of almost $28,000. We have 2 business models. We have a B2B and a B2C business model. Our B2B business model is basically working with private hospitals to act as their in-house blood bank, and they pay us a yearly subscription fee to benefit from that service. Our B2C business model is selling blood or transporting blood for patients who reach out to us directly. So since 2017, in August when we launched this till date, we have been able to generate over $28,000 in revenue. We are currently into a partnership with the Ministry of Public Health in Cameroon to implement this solution into 508 public hospitals all around the country within the next 3 years. We project that through this partnership is going to help us scale at a very rapid rate and help us double our revenues as the years go by for us to be able to completely cover this problem of accessibility to blood. Other members of my team include Arno, who is in charge of quality control and also in charge of operations, Peregrine, who is in charge of IT and software development, and we have 2 motorbike riders who help us with the delivery of the blood. In Cameroon, we are the first of its kind So our direct competition is these hospitals that have blood banks. But hospitals that have blood banks, they give insane demands to the patient, such as the fact that you have to bring in 3 replacement donors in order to get 1 bag of blood. Across Africa, we're seeing other initiatives rising up to be able to address this problem, such as Live Bank in Nigeria and Zipline in Rwanda. Our competitive advantage over this is we're able to run our own in-house blood bank, and so we don't have to only solely depend on the blood banks of these hospitals that are left empty. We're therefore raising $80,000 in pre-seed money. We ran our own in-house blood bank, but had to shut down in June because we got regulated, because we did not have a laboratory for us to be able to ensure quality control and ensure the safety process of the blood bags we were sending out. So with this money, we intend to use $60,000 to be able to open our own laboratory and also use the rest to promote our mobile app, which is used as a way for people to sign up to be voluntary blood donors. And that way we're able to develop a digital blood donor database. We believe that with the cash injection from Anzisha, we'll be able to start towards acquiring some equipment for our lab and also get more motorcycles to help us cover with logistics. And we believe that within the next 24 months, we'll be able to generate over $160,000 in revenue and impact over 50,000 lives directly and indirectly through the lives that we save and their family members. I'm only here today because 2 years ago, a tragedy for another family, gave me purpose. And it put me on a journey to be able, thank you. And it put me on a journey to be able to make sure that lives such as Rita's are not cut short because of something that each of us possess, which is blood. Thank you very much.
This is good. Ça s'est bien passé, ça s'est bien passé. We'll have the time just for one question because we're over time. So just one question, please. Chris?
I think I liked your presentation. And don't see me as a bad person for asking you a question while you're crying.
No, that's okay.
I mean, you said that one of the very important things with what you're doing is having to make sure that you have timely and up-to-date information about blood that is in the blood bank. Yeah. So how do you ensure that your database is up-to-date and it corresponds with what is actually available across all the hospitals that you have?
Yeah, so our operations officers are in charge of coordinating the heads of the service of the blood banks who send us this information every day. So we have a WhatsApp group where all of them are involved in the WhatsApp group, and every day they update us. For those who don't, that is why we have an operations team. They go out and they get the information. So we have them updated on a daily basis, yeah.
Thank you. You did great, ma sœur. Ça fait bien. C'est très bien. Tu peux sortir par la porte qui est là. Thank you. So, now we're about to go to Libya, but now there's a change. We're going to Morocco with Mohamed. So Mohamed is 22. He's from Morocco, and he will come on stage to share his story. So please welcome Mohamed El Idrissi.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mohamed. I'm 22 years old from Morocco. And I want to live in a world where everyone, including you and I, will have access to quality healthcare. But the reality is not that the case. Because in Morocco, there is 35% of med students suffer from mental health challenges. And as a former med student, I can tell you that the whole curriculum is focused only in medicine and medical learning, but nothing else to do with soft skills and the skills needed to deliver better the healthcare services or to work on teams. Not only that, there is also the problem of overcrowding, because we can find during internships 50 students with just one mentor, which impacts the efficiency of the practical learning. And so, as healthcare solutions, we developed our first program, Step Out, 2 years ago. The concept is the mix of 3 elements. The first one is a 4 days event-based training. It's a trip, so we mix the fun with the learning, and we deliver soft skills and medical learning workshops. The second element is immersive learning. Since it's in a trip, we do this trip in remote areas. So we offer free medical consultation to patients in these areas. And as a result, the students can be mentored in a very, very small groups with doctors, so that this way we are providing a response to the lack of practical medical learning. And the last element is online follow-up and monitoring. And doing so, we have been able, within the 2 years, to train 300 med students all over the country. And our model is that we charge for the trainings. So people pay to attend our trainings. And we have been able to make $45,000 during the 2 years. And during the free medical consultations, we've been able to consult 1,000 patients. And the final elements is the job opportunities that we offer 30 during these 2 years. And the majority of med students, after they graduate, they open their own offices. But they face a lot of challenges since they're not taught how to manage the business part of their office. And so as a result, we have 30% of them that go out of business after 2 years. And this is mainly due to 2 reasons: poor management skills and not enough patients coming in. And so as a result, we made it very simple. We developed the second program, which is TACT. We offer simply social media marketing trainings and management, such as finances and taxes. And as a result, within the last 6 months, we have been able to train 30 doctors. And for example, there is one of our clients. She went from the risk of closing her office to being able to double the coming in patients within 1 month only after the training about social media marketing. And so our motto is to think big, start small, but fast. What we have done during the last 2 years is trained 330 healthcare professionals. And our aim, within the 5 next year, we want to train 7,000 of them and generating, as a result, a revenue of $1.2 million. And as you see, the main like training of our course is the job opportunities, because we will be able to create more than 1,000 job opportunities by this time. And as you can see, our profit is getting higher in a healthy way during this time. And so, in order to achieve the 7,000, we are raising right now $80,000, and mainly to cover the cost of the first year, so that after the next year we will be able to break even, and then we will be financially sustainable. The main investment that we will make will be to grow the team and to transfer or to transcend from just being to medical program delivering to a brand, because we want to be able to publish content for the 2 markets, medical students and the doctors. That way, we believe that we can reach the 7,000 that we aim for. And I'm gonna end up by telling you my story, because I was studying medicine, as I said at the beginning. And last year, I decided to drop out to achieve my dream, which is to give to everyone access to a good quality healthcare, but not as a doctor, as an entrepreneur. And as you can see, this is a picture of my fellows. I'm so proud and I'm so grateful for all the people who made this experience happen. Thank you so much.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You did good.
Thank
you
you
did
so
good.
much. Thank you. Here you go.
Do you have questions for him?
Thank you. Great presentation. How are the health professionals and the healthcare facilities able to track the benefits that your training and program brings? How does it add value, or how are they able to communicate this to patients or potential patients to say, if you come to our healthcare facility, we have this extra layer of soft skills that you may not find elsewhere?
Oh, yes. The thing, if I understand your question right, the question is how we track the impact of the trainings. Is that the question?
How does the people that you train, the healthcare professionals that you train, how are they able to communicate this added benefit to potential clients?
So there we have two type of beneficiaries or clients: medical students and doctors. We have two separate programs for every one of them. For example, the doctors, they benefit from the business part because they have more patients coming in and they manage better their business. And so this allows them to not shut down after the 2 years period, as I told you. And so that's the impact that we are having on private sector doctors. And the med students, we have seen just after the trainings, they become more involved in their communities. And as a second KPI, we see them getting more involved in a lot of other activities, such as creating clubs, being part of NGOs, and creating sometimes their own. And so that's the kind of impact that we're having in them.
Okay.
And also the medical learnings that they have.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to you.
Chris?
Nice presentation. What is going to be the differentiating factor for you if someone else begins to do exactly this thing that you're offering? What is going to make people prefer to use your service as opposed to whatever other competition might arise?
Two elements. First one, from the beginning, we care so much about branding. We care so much about the sense of community. And that's the key elements of Step Out and TACT program as well. That's the first element. And the second one is that we are from the community. And so this allows us to have such insights and to be so close to the market. So that way we know exactly what the need is and how to deliver value at the best way possible.
And why limit this only to doctors?
We made these decisions as co-founders. We have this vision to make a healthcare quality better for everyone. And so that's because a lot of other people focus on our patient-centric. But before being patient-centric, we need to be first healthcare professional-centric so that we can improve their skills. And that's why all our focus now is in healthcare. And it will be forever in healthcare system only, so that we can deliver more value.
Thank you,
Thanks
Mohamed.
to you.
You did great.
Thank you.
Bravo. So now we will welcome another Mohamed. This Mohamed comes from Libya. He's only 18. Mohamed Sherif. He's very, I'm always impressed by young people starting ventures in countries where there's some conflicts, like Libya. So please welcome Mohamed Sherif.
Hello everybody, good afternoon. We all live in the technology era. Some stepped on the moon, others discovered things beneath the sea, and this is just the beginning. Imagine living with 4 hours of electricity from 24 hours a day. That's 1 day of the whole week. Plus having to stand on an endless lines at the banks is just to get $100 of your salary. While thinking to yourself, what am I gonna do with these $100? Am I gonna buy food for my family? Which is so expensive. Things that we used to eat, things that we used to buy on the daily basis are now unaffordable. And the list goes on and on and on endlessly. Unfortunately, that was happening in Libya for the past 7 years. Moreover, with the extreme rough situation starting from bombing, killing, abduction, ending with complete blackouts for more than 5 days. I'm Mohammed Abdulaziz Al-Sharif, I'm 18 years old from Libya. Considering all of that, I planned and started my own project in 2016, which is an ice flakes factory. My main purpose to start was seeing people and my friends' families suffer in my community, and I really wanted to help with any way possible. Basically, what we are doing is selling ice flakes back to the fishermen and supermarkets and shops, so they can prevent their food from going complete damage, and in a very cheap and very affordable and more effective way. Because the first thing a Libyan person can think of to solve the lack of electricity is to buy a power generator, and that itself costs a huge amount of money. So it's much cheaper and much easier for them to buy our ice flakes bags. In 2017, we started with 20 bags per day. that got us a revenue of $8,400. Currently, in 2018, we're producing more than 40 bags a day, and that got us a revenue of $6,800. Our projection in the future to produce 100 bags per day by the year 2020, and that will give us a revenue of $42,000. I'm gonna use the Anzisha Prize money, firstly, on expanding my fields and resources, on adding 1 or 2 more factories to support the main one. Secondly, we're gonna implement the idea of solar panels or buying a new generator so we can work 24/7 or without having to stop. And thirdly, I'm gonna add a delivery system so we can open a lot more doors and opportunities for the young generation in Libya to start and go to work by having the good equipment and to advance the way to move and make movement a lot easier for them, because the fishermen and the shop owners are afraid of risking their own lives coming and picking up our product from our factories. Thank you very much.
We'll take some questions, okay?
Okay.
So, Chris?
One simple question. Why did you start? Why did you decide to go into entrepreneurship? Considering the circumstance that you live in every day, why did you decide to go into entrepreneurship?
Especially like for me, education in our Libyan education system in our country is not working at all. Like you're gonna be like, am I gonna sit at home like for the rest of my life, or do I like step up to the world and do something for myself and get money for it? That's why I got to the business. I wanted to start something. At the beginning, it wasn't only for a profit, not for my profit. I really wanted to help my community, my friends, other families. So that's what I wanted to do.
Nice. Do we have another question? No? So it means that you were very, very clear.
Thank you very much.
You did great. You can go to this now. So let's travel a bit. Let's go in this beautiful island, which is also a country called Madagascar. We'll welcome another woman on stage. She's a strong entrepreneur. Her name is Nomena Andriana To Andro, and she will introduce her company. Please welcome her.
Bonjour, good morning. English is not my first language, but I will try to do my best. I am Nomena Andriana To Andro. I am from Madagascar, the beautiful island that have already been said. I grew up in the capital of Antananarivo. And I was from a very decent, happy family. Each year at the summertime we had the opportunity to travel all around Madagascar to discover new cultures, new lands, and the sun and the beach. But what I really enjoyed with that is when I see the smell of and freshness of the flavors that we do have in our area. But when I came back in town, it was like all those colors have been disappeared, and we are under pressure and under stress. And when I wanted to relieve, I went to the market, and guess what? There, the market was full of imported product that is described in my shirt. Those imported products do not care about the well-being of the consumers. And that really makes me frustrated to know that Malagasy people do not have access to its own biodiversity on the land. And that's why I have created my company, which is Wassa. Wassa is the first healthy smoothie beverage in Madagascar, made by local fruits, vegetables, and also rice milk. It is 100% natural and it's authentic. How can we do that? Is that we have implemented a value chain. We develop sustainable agriculture by working directly with the local farmers. And secondly, we are empowering the youth and women within the big manufacturing process. And third, once the product is launched, and then we distribute it for the market, for all the Malagasy people to enjoy our product. And then our revenue model is by selling the product via different types of channels. And for the beginning, we were three women in February 2018, 6 months ago, we had invested on our own. Some had local location, some had bought the mixers, and some the raw materials. And we have launched our first MVP in April 2018. And we had the opportunity to participate into different events to show the people about our product. And then we have some feedback, and that really improved us to do more and more every day. And now, guess what? We are present in 5 local restaurants and also two of the biggest sports academic in the town. And we also do deliveries to companies and also for individuals. The self-work for the beginning, as I've already been said, we have just produced by ourselves. And now, with 6 women who are permanently employed in our company, we have been able to scale up this production. And now we are producing 4,000 bottles per month. And we take 15% of margin with it. And for the last by the last of the year, we will make $14,000 of dollars, and we want to double it and to triple it within the 2 years, because we know that all those Malagasy people do deserve these local products. And what we plan to do is to launch new products and to invest on cold press system manufacturing so that it can allow us to have good quality of production and the quantity too. We want to set up a laboratory within the company which can allow us to have international standardization, because we believe in a Madagascar with international healthy brand. Wassa is not just about 30 centiliters of drinks. It's more about that. It's about all those local farmers who claim that their products are not valued. It's the empowerment of the young and the women in the country, and above all, it's for those million and billion women. It's for those million and billion people live all around the world who deserve the better quality for their healthy daily life. And ladies and gentlemen, my baby Wassa and I really want to thank you.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Félicitations. Comment tu te sens? Bien? Tu respires? Ok, c'est génial.
Great presentation. I wish you had brought some samples so we can try it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So great presentation. I really like the concept. I wanted to ask about the positioning for now, the way you're positioning, because I'm looking at the pictures of the packaging and it's quite well done, but you're selling it at $1 a bottle. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, how are you going to find that balance between having the impact, which is that you want it to be accessible, mm-hmm. yet you want to also make money from it so that mm-hmm. it continues to be sustainable. So mm-hmm. what are you thinking about that?
Okay, so by investing on the cold press system and the all new system, we will be able to scale up the production and then to lower the cost of the cost.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So just I want to say before you leave, I had the opportunity to go in Madagascar and to taste it, and it's delicious. So sorry for you guys, but that's this opportunity. Thank you very much. You did great. Thank you. See you. You can go to this door. So where can we go now? We went to Madagascar, went to Morocco, went to Libya. I want to explore Kenya. Are you willing to go with me in Kenya? Let's go to Kenya. So please welcome a very young entrepreneur. He's only 18. His name is Richard Turere, and he needs your support. So please welcome him.
Hi everyone. I want you all to imagine a world without lions. My name is Richard Turere. I'm the founder and CEO of Lion Lights. I believe in a world where humans and wildlife can coexist in harmony. But unfortunately, over the past 50 years, African lion population have decreased by 50%. In Kenya alone, we lose about 100 of our 2,000 lions every year. This is mainly due to the human-wildlife conflict between farmers and lions. So lions are either speared, poisoned in retaliation for killing livestock. Lions are very important to our economy in Kenya. They're actually lions are the major tourist attraction to Kenya, and tourism contributes about 10% to our GDP. I am Maasai, which means we keep cows as a way of life. We actually have this belief that that we came from heaven with all our land and all the cows for herding them. So that's why we actually value them so much. So I began, I was responsible for looking after my father's cows when I was at the age of 9. And but like at night, we had this very big challenge. Lions from the neighboring park would visit our homestead and kill cows. So like, can you imagine, like you woke up today in the morning and all your bank money was taken away from you? That's how it feels to a Maasai when his cow is killed by a lion. So I had to find a solution to address this. So I began doing different things. Like I used to put a scarecrows like inside near where the cows stay. Like I wanted to scare these lions that I was always there and looking after the cows. But lions eventually got used to it. So they're very, very smart animals actually. So I did different experiments. One of the things that I did was, I remember one of the nights I was walking around with a flashlight, and I was just walking around where the cows stay. And that night, the lions didn't come. So the idea came to me that I could actually make something that tricks these lions that I'm always there, but I'm not. So that's when lion lights were born. So lion lights are basically lights that flash in a way that tricks lions that I'm always there when I'm not. So let me introduce you to my latest lion lights. So this light has an infrared sensor. So it detects the motion and the heat of the lion approaching. It triggers the light to go on. And then we have an LDR sensor. This is just to make it more independent, that it turns itself on like in the evening and off during the day, because there are no attacks during the day. So I lead a team of 8 people, and over the past 3 years, we've been able to install about 750 homesteads with these lights, and they've reported 0 predation in this home. We're now installing lion lights to other farms, testing it on elephants. So elephants invade people's farms in Kenya to eat crops like vegetables, and we've also tested lion lights, and it works. So we're currently running 5 different pilot programs around countries like Tanzania, Argentina, to address the same problem, which is the human-wildlife conflict. The graph above shows you the number of attacks before and after the lion lights were installed. So a small margin and after was actually lions had attacked when the lights had developed a technical issue. In terms of revenue, we sell these lights to farmers who are able to purchase it, but we also depend mostly from sponsorship from organizations such as Wildlife Direct. And annually we make about $1,500. But we even have much bigger plans. We aim at producing about 8,000 units of lights in the next 2 years. This is because we're currently not able to produce 300 units per month. So winning the Anzisha Prize will enable us to cover for some of the costs and to achieve our big dream of saving 300 lions every year, saving 500,000 compensation money used by the government of Kenya to compensate for farmers in 1 month. And we are going to save 12,000 livestock, and this will open opportunities for 50 people in the community. I encourage all of you to join me in this fight against land extinction, because I believe with land rights, coexistence is possible. Thank you.
And Richard, you did good.
Thank you, sir.
Before I let the floor to the judges, just keep in mind that this young entrepreneur were like alone in the dark, protecting the cows in front of lions. So it's how brave it is.
I was actually 12 years old when I invented
Oh, really?
land lights. Yeah.
Okay. So, do we have questions?
Thank you for your presentation. You are indeed a brave man.
Thank you.
I would never have survived in front of a lion. I would have just died at the sight of it. I wanted to find out from you, so you did this 6 years ago?
Actually, I first made land lights like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But we started running as a business like in 3 years ago. Like 3 years
Okay,
ago.
okay. And what is unique about this? What protects, how are you able to protect this design or the patent or whatever, and what prevents another light manufacturer from doing exactly what you're doing?
So that's a very good question. So, what I discovered that lions don't, so lions get attacked by farmers, and when they see someone is actually not walking around with a torch, that's why they don't come. So that's what makes the lions go away. So, I got the patent for the lion lights. So I'm actually the youngest patent inventor in Kenya right now.
Oh, all right. Do we have another question?
Another question. So I had read your story a long time ago, pretty much when you did this. So it's interesting to see that you're running this as a business, and I just want to say that you keep doing what you're doing. It's fascinating what you're doing.
Saran,
I have a question, yes.
Thank you. Great presentation. You mentioned that the government pays about 500,000 per year in compensation to farmers. Have you thought about perhaps partnering with them where they can actually purchase or subsidize the cost? Because I imagine it would be much less expensive for them to invest in this and distribute to farmers than to pay out $500,000 every year in compensation.
Yes. So actually, so the Act for Compensation was just passed recently in 2013.
Okay.
So, so the compensation that has been there from 2013 in Kenya, there are many records from like 2013. So the government still owes farmers money for their livestock that are lost. Like even for me, the government still needs to pay for my cows that I lost before the livelines. So like yeah, we as a company we are looking into getting interest from the government so that we can all solve this problem. We cannot solve the problem alone, but if we work together, for sure, yeah, we can.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. You did great. Yeah. So, after traveling all across the continent, we're back in South Africa. It's also very important for us to celebrate the local young entrepreneurs. So, we will have the great honor to welcome Tendo Kowane on stage to introduce his great company. Please welcome him. My man. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, man.
Good?
Good.
I'm good. Let's do this.
Sure. Good day, everyone. I'm Tando Kowane. I'm from Zaio, the online school for software developers. At Zaio, we believe we are cultivating the next generation of young tech leaders. Now, I'll ask you to keep in mind this picture as I tell you a bit of the problems that we're trying to solve in the tech ecosystem. Student developers lack practical experience and industry-relevant skills. In fact, I'm a student developer myself, and I applied for an internship at Google and got turned down. And this was because I did not know Golang, which is the language that they were looking for. It wasn't taught in school. And on top of this, they wanted someone with practical experience, but I was applying for the internship because I wanted to get practical experience. Now, this is not a problem I face alone. In fact, in South Africa, 38% of the youth are unemployed. And this is largely due to a lack of skills. Now, as we go into the fourth industrial revolution, digital skills will become ever more important, and we need to do something to address this. But also looking back at our team, This is a pretty diverse team. There's a Kenyan, a Malawian, South African, and a guy from India. But this is not the case in the tech ecosystem in South Africa, which is predominantly white-dominated and male-dominated. We're trying to drive diversity. So on the other side, there are startups. Startups find it very expensive to prototype and to innovate. And recruiters face large costs when trying to access this talent. Our solution seeks to solve this. Zaio, the online school for student software developers to build real-world skills and practical experience. Our philosophy is learn, practice, land, dream job. So firstly, student developers learn with fun. They do coding challenges and have access to courses on our platform. They then get an opportunity to practice with real African companies on real-world projects and through hackathons. But lastly, we're building the skills profile, and ultimately, we'd like to help them get their dream job, whether it's through recruitment partners or directly. Our impact is clear, and I'll give one example out of the many developers in our community to explain this. Meet Roger, sitting next to the couch there. Roger was a very shy and stuttering young individual from Congo, and needless I say that after working on a project with our clients, he built client interaction and is now in the 3rd round of the Microsoft interview to go work in the US. But on top of this, the project and prototype that he worked on just received R1 million from Rand merchants, and that is the kind of impact we're creating. We're creating more employable developers with soft skills, and that can really make an impact in our country. Our business model is twofold. So the companies pay for the prototypes, and essentially, we take a commission off that. Part of the funds also goes towards funding the costs to train them, to pay for the courses. And lastly, the developers themselves actually get a commission and get an earning or stipend on the prototype that they build. But as we grow and build these skills profiles, we'd like to work on partnerships with recruitment companies to do revenue shares. Our competitive landscape is across 3 areas. You first have the guys who do recruitment and coding challenges. We're providing learning content to our developers, which brings them more skills. But on top of that, our profiles are more comprehensive because we cover soft skills as well. Then you have your education and recruitment, which is typically physical schools. And another thing that sets us apart from them is that we're actually working with universities and technicons to provide that additional practical experience component and those industry-relevant skills, because the universities just aren't keeping up with the industry-relevant skills. But lastly, on development services, we provide that spec and project management support to our developers when working with clients. This is our current platform that we've used to get to this point, and we've been able to create 19 jobs. We've had 206 signups on our platform, and we've done this in 6 months with the live platform. We've also had 54 client requests, which speaks to the fact that just in Cape Town alone, we already experienced the potential for a lot more growth. And with this, we're currently building our new version of our platform, which allows for us to automate a lot of the work that is involved with managing the complexity in this project. On top of this, we've built strategic partnerships with the student developer communities. We're also endorsed by the National Advisory Council for Innovation and are looking to actually work with Anzisha to provide Anzisha fellows with prototypes going forward. Our advisory board is made up of individuals in the tech space, in strategy, finance, and accounting, and they've really helped us grow. To grow, we'd like to work further with, these are the incubators we're working with to get in more projects for our developers to work on, and these are the universities that we've made a commitment to going into next year. And essentially by next year, we want to be in by 2020, we want to be in 10 universities, training 2,000 developers in that year, creating 100 jobs and 50 placements. We're currently doing 8 prototypes, and we've already placed 19 people. The money from Anzisha will help us build our tech, marketing, and grow out into those 5 universities. We join you to join Zaio and drive African innovation. Thank you.
You did great. Do we have questions?
Tendo, thank you for your presentation. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, the need is enormous, not just in South Africa, but across the continent. Do you guys work with incubators?
Right. Yes, we do.
Sorry, not incubators, accelerators.
So ideally, we'd like to, but we haven't established any relationships at this point with them. But we'd like to. Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Well done.
Thank you.
Chris?
So we used your service, right? It was great in the beginning, but then there were some issues. What are you doing to make sure that those kinds of issues don't exist? What learnings have you gotten from the partners you've worked with before? Yeah, that's pretty much
Sure. So I think one of the big things is that startups go through failure, right? And I think the first thing we tried to do was obviously manage the problem. So just to give context, we worked with Ingenie, and Chris' startup was part of Ingenie, and the developer that we assigned to him sort of went missing and stopped communicating. Yeah, disappeared, basically. And this was our first learning, right? And this learning was around internships. We've gotten away with internships, and we only focus on projects where we bring in the project management support. You did apologize, and I apologize again on this. And what we learned mostly about it was that we understand developers. And so we're able to work with them better and manage communication. Because I think on 2 accounts, the developer went missing, we communicated with him, then he came back, and then he went missing again. And so we just decided to focus on, we manage the interaction with the clients, and then we deal with the developers in the back, because we understand developers better. But ultimately, I think it was a great learning curve, because we realized that internships are not how you do it. We'd rather bring the project on us, and we manage the interaction.
Thanks. Last question?
What's your greatest constraint to growing?
Sure. Right. So one of our biggest constraints was just managing the scale and capacity, and that's the reason why we're building our new platform. It was basically managing the project management for different projects, and so we are building a project management tool which allows us to manage the scale, and I also think just resources. So the learning resources for developers currently cost us a licensing fee. Obviously, as you get more developers, the cost per unit drops. But right now, we just don't have the money to put those resources on. And so that's probably our biggest challenge right now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You did great. So the last participant, she's only 22. Actually, she's not from Rwanda. She's from Uganda. What do I say? Anzisha Prize, welcome. Thanks for you.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Shimwe Vanessa. I am 22 years old. I am a Rwandan refugee in Uganda. When I was 15, I lost my right to education, and so did the rest of my siblings. And little did I know that not only me was going through this particular situation, but over 60% of young people in Chakatu refugee settlement, where I come from, are going through the same situation. So when that happened, we could not afford even a meal a day because we did not have the right skills or the right education to get a job. So me and my friends, we decided we wanted to make a change to our families and to our communities as well. So we knew education would be the key. And then we started with the children, young children of the age between 3 to 6 years old. We set up 3 kindergartens around Chakatu refugee settlement, and we have so far educated 350 children. And then we also knew we could help also young people like us between the age of 15 to 35 years old. So we looked for scholarship connections, which I have been also part of it, and I graduated last year in high school after a long time of not being in school. And then also we knew we needed the right skills as young people to be marketable and more employable, so we decided to have the entrepreneurship trainings for young people between 15 to 35 years old. So we have trained over 30 people, and out of the 30, 10 of them have started up their small businesses, and we have connected 5 young people to scholarships, and we have 18 employees who help us work and run the organization, and then we have 3 volunteers and 5 interns right now as teachers at our kindergartens. You might be wondering how we run these activities, but this is how we do it. We seek for grants. We are non-profit, so we seek for grants and donations, and we also cooperate with non-profit and for-profit organizations to help us in the training of the teachers and training of the young people so that we may run the organization effectively. So we also do farming around the school so that it supplements on the income of the school. And then we mobilize parents when we have to maybe build, to when we have projects which they can be involved in, so they help us with manual labor. Yeah, so we managed to get $5,000 all in revenue last year, and this year we have managed to raise $11,507 in revenue. We would like to digitalize the education of these young children to prepare them for the future, which in this planet we are in, it is growing technologically, so we prepare them for the future. And then we would like to train at least 100 young people in entrepreneurship within 2 years. We would like to connect at least 30 young people to scholarship, secondary and university within 2 years. And we would like to educate at least 500 young children between 3 to 6 years old within 2 years. But for us to achieve this, we will need the $37,000 and yeah, to achieve our goals for the 2 years. And this is my team. I am the co-founder and managing director of Youth Initiative for Development in Africa. And we have a team of about 25 people, including the volunteers and the full-time working people, the 18 people. So I would like to recognize our stakeholders and our partners who have made our journey possible, including CIOTA, which has helped us in mentoring and donating to us, UNICEF, which has trained our teachers and constantly visited us, UNHCR, which has donated to us since last year, and then Idea for Africa, our partner, which has helped us train our young people. And then I would like to recognize that Rita Roy, the CEO of MasterCard Foundation, donated to us last year, and that was amazing. As I finish up, if I have not covered anything, you can read more on that website, and thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Before I let the judges ask some questions, we have the viewers' question, so I will just read. What made you choose this type of business? Where do you see your business in the next 5 years? This question was asked by Code Ebenezer.
Well, the reason as to why I chose this type of business is because myself, I know where education has, I'm in education. So I know where education has gotten me and where it has placed me. If it wasn't for education, I would not be right here standing before all of you and talking even in English. Yeah, so I know it's taking me even further. So that is why I chose this for a young person out there else who needs the help that I got myself, also that they can be here or somewhere else better. And where I see this organization in 5 years, we have great plans, and we plan for our services to be even better by digitalizing the learning, by having more youth enroll in universities and secondary and have a chance for a better education, and as UN says it, to have an inclusive and quality education. Thank you.
Great. I will take 2 questions. Peter?
So great presentation. I have a question on the revenue model. So as I understand now, you're running it as an NGO and you're receiving grants and donations.
Yeah.
Will you at some point also be looking at getting paid for the trainings? So I'm thinking for in the refugee camp, for example, where the organization running the refugee camp could actually start paying you for all the trainings that you're conducting.
Yeah, we have submitted proposals to UNHCR in different years until we had submitted last year until they looked at our proposal in December and they told us they would get back to us next year, which is this year, and they haven't yet. But then we are hopeful that they will, and we hope to be charging for the training at least at a very affordable price. Yeah.
Last question. Do we have another question? No? You were very clear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You did very great. So now I will use this opportunity to thank all the finalists They did a great job. You know, it's been a long week where they were very nervous, and you saw them before you very comfortable with, you know, they were very brave. So that's something that we have to celebrate. I would love to have maybe the comments of the judges about what they saw, what they think. Like if you could take like 1 or 2 minutes just to express what you think. We can start with Polo. Can we have the mic?
Firstly, thank you once again for inviting me to this. I'm very, very inspired by our future leaders, because that's what I see in them. I'm very impressed that at such a young age, they have decided to tackle some of the biggest challenges that we face as a continent within our individual communities. So I'm really very, very humbled by it, and very, very impressed. And I look forward to the future. Thank you.
Peter?
So I want to second everything that Polo said. I'm really, really in awe of everybody that's spoken today, which I'm thinking I don't need this microphone. And I think what touched me was that everybody that came had a story. There was real meaning as to why they were working on the startups that they were working on. I think it's very touching, but it also shows that it's going to go a long way, because there's a real mission and goal behind it. I think it's going to be really tough to pick the top 3 people. So honestly, I just want to say congratulations to everybody, because you're all winners. And I look forward to following your stories.
Same. All the stories were very impactful, and the businesses look like things that are targeting actual problems that exist, and they look like they know what they're doing. I think with the right support and the right mentorship, that they can literally build billion-dollar businesses. And it's quite unfortunate that we're going to have, to select 3 people. However, like everybody has said, they're all winners. And I'm happy to give as much support as I can as an individual, and I think every other person is also excited to do the same thing. So it doesn't matter, what the results come out to be. Every single one of them have done amazingly well, and yeah, looking forward to read more about their stories.
Thank you. Hi. I was really impressed by the cohort for this year. I think at such a young age, to be able to really craft a credible pitch and really deliver it with confidence to a bunch of judges who could be intimidating in front of a live audience, it takes a lot of courage. So really congratulations to everyone who has presented today. It's a good sign that even if you don't win today, but imagine if you do the same thing 50 times, by the time you're 22, you'll be a definitely much better business person than 80% of the people on the planet. So really, for me, that's really the one encouragement I want to give to the entrepreneurs, and really for their boldness to share your ideas. And also, most important thing is that all countries that the persons come from are different. So the guy in Libya who's trying to keep the fish fresh by just producing ice, to someone who's doing something about malaria, to someone who's helping people code. It's really different sets of problems, which makes our jobs as judges very hard. But really, the most important thing is that no solution is less significant. So really, you guys are champions.
They are all winners.
Yes,
no
exactly.
matter what.
Yeah, you're all really champions in your domain and where you are. Yeah.
Wow. This was an impressive group of young people, and it's going to make the selection process very, very difficult. I was really impressed by the group of young women that presented, and this gives me hope for Africa. I think, we all know the challenges that the continent faces, from unemployment to climate and environmental changes and poverty, healthcare, agriculture, and it seems like all of the candidates here, their businesses represent solutions to all of these problems that the continent is facing. So it gives me hope for the future, and I'm looking forward to staying involved with all of them and mentoring in any way that I can and supporting beyond just today. So
Thank
really
you for
excited.
That. Really appreciate it. Know that you're not alone in this choice that you have to make today. The viewers, they still can vote online on anzishaprize.org, and tomorrow during the gala we will announce the winners, even if we are all winners. So we will live stream the show tomorrow afternoon on the internet. So please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Anzisha Prize on all the social media. Thank you all. I want to thank the African Leadership Academy. I want to thank the MasterCard Foundation. I want to thank the team who they worked during months to find the fellows, to train them, to organize this great event. It's a team of 10 people who worked hard and they were tired, but it was worth it. Thank you all for your time, and we'll see you tomorrow for the gala. Bye-bye.